Okay. Welcome to the stream, guys. I am going to be feeding my addiction when it comes to Slay the Spire. So don't mind me. But no, hell no, we're not doing Fortnite. Not a chance in hell I'm playing Fortnite this early. Hell to the motherfucking no. Nice. It was nice. Like you mean the giant mess? Huh? Uh what's his name? Wait. Wait, no. I don't need music today because we're gonna be watching. Hey, Tristan. Hi.
People have been wondering. PlayStation just held their big state of play event for June 20th.
Okay, we're gonna be watching this guy because I like watching this guy. I just never get to. No, not. Yeah. Yeah. I actually forgot to add something, so um no, we're not capturing. See. Do you Okay, there we go. Yeah, there we go. There. That works. Okay, we got that working. And then nice. Thunderstorm has formed right close to Mexico.
26. Was it the biggest, craziest state of play like some people were hyping it up to be? Did we get some interesting new announcements? Yes. So let's talk about them now. Let's get started off with number 10. A surprise announcement was Stuntman Hollywood. Yes, the return of the Stuntman franchise. For some of you that don't know, this franchise.
By the way, I beat this game, but apparently beating this game isn't really beating this game unless you beat him with this guy. And this guy's a pain in the ass to use.
Hollywood is back with Saber Interactive at the helm. The people behind things like more recently John Carpenter's Toxic Commando, but also the excellent Space Marine 2. Saber Interactive's got their hands in a lot of different cookie jars, and they handle IP really well, intellectual property, licensed games. So it makes sense with this Stuntman Hollywood that it is featuring a lot of famous films with cars. We get to see Brian O'Connor's whip from Fast and the Furious, Kit from Knight Rider, the Back to the Future DeLorean time machine. There's a good amount of cool stuff going on here. Once again, in the framework of Stunt Driver, doing special tricks, getting everything perfect. We don't know too much more about this one, but I'm going to be honest, I just personally really like this. It's a good revival of a classic franchise that I still think had more left in it. Next at number 9, I think a big theme of this state of play in terms of announcements was release dates. We got release dates updates for a lot of games we already knew. First and foremost, Control Resident, the sequel to Control, is releasing September 24th. We also now know that Dune Awakening is coming to PS5, and this is releasing September 22nd. Also, Onimusha, Blade of the Sword, Capcom's next big thing, finally has a release date of September 25th. Along with that, there's a demo available to put on it. I have played some of this demo area and experienced it behind the scenes, and it is pretty cool. Also, Phantom Blade Zero was teased. They're going to announce more info in the summer, but we also know that the release date was moved to October 29th. Also, no rest for the wicked. Excellent kind of
I'm about to get a mud hole in my ass.
has been in development for a long time. It's coming out of early access, and with that,
Little mistakes like that. Like I had a flawless run off a stream.
For Ace Combat 8 as well. These games are incredibly underrated, and they actually go all in on telling cool, crazy stories. It's not just an aerial dogfighting game. This one looks really interesting, and we now know it's releasing October 2nd. Also, last but certainly not least, Silent Hill Townfall, the kind of Silent Hill spin-off first-person horror adventure, is now slated for September 24th. So yes, you might be looking now at the calendar and thinking, wow, are all the big games of 2026 releasing in between September and October? Yes, you'd be absolutely right. It seems like everything in their mother is releasing just before Grand Theft Auto 6 releases in November. That's a lot of games, man, so let's move on to number 8. Until Dawn 2 was announced. Yes, Until Dawn is back. Sony is reviving this property, only this time without Supermassive Games working on it. Supermassive Games, of course, has gone on to do their own thing in a similar vein. This one is coming from Firesprite, a studio that's kind of done support work and work on smaller PlayStation games.
Jeez, these guys are like wearing me out.
Totally changing the environment, the setting, all that. No longer is it a snowy log cabin, but now a spooky, sexy, tropical island getaway. You got a bunch of young characters partying and smooching, and it seems like there's a guy on the island killing them all. In this, they did tease some very classic Until Dawn style split-second decision making that'll affect the outcome of characters living or dying throughout this adventure. We also saw some famous video game voice actors featured in this as well. This one looks kind of weird to me, and Until Dawn without Supermassive does feel kind of weird, but the original creators of the franchise have moved on at this point, so I'm curious to see what New Blood will do with it. Next at number 7, we got a substantial
Well, stuff is good because Until Dawn,
game that we
the
previously knew.
the first Until Dawn was really good, and if I've said this in my video that I made. If you haven't played Until Dawn, get yourself a group of friends and play it. It's really fun. Play it on Discord, play it in IRL. However, just play it with a group of friends. You will not regret it.
Knew about, but we hadn't seen too much of. This comes from a new studio called Unseen. Apparently, this was founded by the Ghostwire Tokyo director, Ikumi Nakamura. She took to the stage to present this whole gameplay look. It's an action-focused game, seemingly in this big sci-fi world, and or in 3-player co-op, you're running around and you're hunting yokai. You're apparently killing them and then using them for your looks and also for your abilities and move sets. And in terms of
I don't know why I didn't block. I'm telling you little mistakes like that.
Of their attacks, it does look pretty crazy. Judging
Now I
from
have to pay for it.
It doesn't sound like this one is coming soon, but at the very least, now we know a little bit more about what it actually looks like, what kind of game it is. Next at number 6, we got a new gameplay trailer for Ill. Once again, an incredibly gross, gory, strange first-person survival horror.
That game
Use the word survival
made me want to clean my room with alcohol.
Pretty action-focused to me, and it looks cool as hell. Really gory, really eerily, realistically unsettling. But also, it's just all about blasts and gross zombies and creatures. There's still a part of me, visually, this one looks kind of uncanny. It almost looks too good to be true, but it's been in the works for quite some time now. It's got a bigger publisher behind it, the publisher behind Atomic Heart. I'm also glad to see that it's not just all shock and awe. We've seen this game from the earliest iterations, these
That's a good one.
snippets, but now it looks like it's not just craziness and gore. They're actually trying to tell a story. We've seen some characters, some dialogue, some stuff just kind of setting the stage. That has me a little more curious as to what's actually going on here, other than like blood and explosions. And Ill is shaping up to be something kind of awesome and weird and strange. I'm excited to finally get my hands on it, and at the very least, now we know the trailer suggests sometime in 2027. Next at number 5, we have The Lost Wild. This game resurfaced after quite a few years. It's essentially a survival horror dinosaur game where you're trapped on this island and dinosaurs are hunting you. But the game is going for a bit more of an amnesia, alien isolation, where it's more about you being hunted. You have to hide from these things. You have to avoid them. You have to work around these dinosaurs. And I'm surprised how creepy and moody and atmospheric this looks. In a world of Jurassic Park games and a bunch of weird, crappy Steam dinosaur swap games, The Lost Wild looks like it could do something different and feel special and stand out. I'm hopeful for this one. It seems like it might be a cool experience, and as of right now, it's slated for sometime in 2027. Next at number 4, Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis. We got a big flashy gameplay trailer suggesting, yes, this is a remake of the original classic Tomb Raider, but it's got a lot more going on. More characters, more action sequences, a lot of interesting stuff in terms of just how it plays. It looks like it feels like a mix between classic guns blazing Tomb Raider and some of the movement and rope swinging of the modern Tomb Raider games. But along with that, we saw a lot of cool scripted looking action
Hello,
sequences.
Slayer Zero.
Lara Croft looks more like the classic one. And I'll be honest, maybe it's because I'm a 90s gamer, but it's just cool to see Tomb Raider back in full form. As long as it's actually good. We won't know for sure until we play it, but now it has a new release date, February 12th, 2020.
Nah, I'm not gonna take that 5.
Now down at number 3, Ubisoft is remaking Rayman Legends with Rayman Legends Retold. This is gonna have a whole new area, new music, that fun couch co-op, all those levels. This game was like a critical and fan success, but they're changing the art style. They've gone with full 3D graphics. They've stepped away from the kind of almost like animated look, and I think that's a bold choice. I think it's a play to get more of a bigger audience, get more kids into it. I don't know. Look, I don't know how necessary this remake is, but at the very least, it's a remake of a good game. Ask anyone that's ever played Rayman Legends, and they probably have something good to say about it. It's from 2013, so now this new version is releasing October 1st of this year.
I think one of the funniest things that somebody said about the about Rayman was like, wait, Ubisoft released the game that what? Yeah, that's how you know things are going really bad for Ubisoft right
Now
now.
down at number 2, we finally got a look at what Sony Santa Monica Studios is working on. Their next game is another God of War game. It's God of War Lao Fei. This was the heavily rumored, leaked, whatever game where
Bro,
you
my
play as
ADHD
Kratos' wife from God of War
ass
2018, who at the start, of course, they brought
needed
her
some
body out of the
stimulation
funeral
today.
home. This seems to pick up directly after that, with Faye being transported into this like afterlife of the gods, which kind of looks like a battle world with all these gods from different mythologies battling it out, and you play as Faye with very God of War style combat, very new modern God of War style combat, but now centered around sword play, magic casting, and a lot of aerial attacks and cool finishers. It also seems like it's very much going to connect and intersect with Kratos and Atreus' adventures. This is an interesting one, and I'm curious to see how it's going to land with fans. Right, on the one hand, stepping away from Kratos is a bold move. You know, I don't know, but at the very least, it seems like Kratos is going to be involved in some way.
Okay,
If it can
that might have been a
give
mistake,
additional
but
context to the previous
we'll try to
game's
make up for it.
story, that has some potential. The jury is still out for me personally right now, but at the very least, they were confident in this. They did show over like 20 minutes of gameplay. Combat looks solid, a good evolution of God of War 2018 to God of War Ragnarok to this. We also have companion characters this time around who are weird. I'm curious to see if they come off endearing or cringeworthy. Gonna have to see the game. Also, this kind of afterlife for gods, there's a lot of potential for who can show up, and I think that's probably one of the more exciting things about this game, but I don't know. There's still a lot we don't know.
Yeah, so like the thing that they were talking about with this game, with the new God of War game, they're calling it the internet's calling it Mom of War, which is hilarious. Is that like this isn't just the magical realm. This isn't just like the Nordic mythology. This is where all magic goes. This is where all gods go when they die, and this is where all magic goes at the very end. But some stuff goes is like kind of out of balance, and yeah. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Especially structure. For as much gameplay that we did see, we don't know if this is going to be completely linear or something a little bit more open like Ragnarok, who knows. Despite them showing so much of the game, it doesn't have a release date. We don't know when it's coming. It does seem like information is trickling out now after the state of play, but for now, that's where we're at. Now down at number 1, one of the biggest things, the star of the show, we got Wolverine gameplay. Insomniac's Marvel's Wolverine looks bloody and gory and crazy. The sequence we got to see was Logan himself donning the yellow suit.
It's God of War, but La Fue. I think I said that right.
Kidnapping mutants. Apparently, this is like a kind of alternate world where mutants are all in hiding. The X-Men doesn't technically exist, but a lot of those characters are out there. Most notably, Jean Grey, who and actually engages in combat with Wolverine. But the Wolverine combat itself looks awesome. It's brawler focused. It doesn't look like this massive, endless open world game. This looks like a cool action adventure where you're slicing and dicing, you're blocking, you're throwing dudes around.
Imagine if it was an open world game with
you're kicking dudes,
a Wolverine just with like a yellow latex suit.
A rage meter. It's a lot of Wolverine stuff.
They had this segment that was hilarious that like that you can play the game as stealth, but the way they expect people to play is like, yeah, I'm stealthing only because they haven't seen me yet, and that's literally Wolverine to the T.
That we expected, but it's
Hola, Shauna.
really thrilling this time around. You could listen to me yap about it here, or you could go watch the gameplay trailer for yourself. I think that definitely does it justice. From Insomniac's flourishes, to the way the claws flash as you do a finishing move, to the framing, the style, the scene transitions. It just looks like exactly what we were hoping for, right? They were doing what they did for Spider-Man in the Spider-Man original game, now for Wolverine. Seems like a match made in heaven. Hopefully they nail it. Like I said, we've known about the release date for this one. It's releasing in September. Those were 10 of the biggest announcements, but there's a bit more that we couldn't fit into 10. First, Bancho the Chef. This is unexpected. This is actually a Dave the Diver spin-off prequel.
I'm so looking forward to Dave the Diver
style game. It's got a little bit more style and some cool music.
Bancho, anything Dave the Diver. I need to finish Dave the Diver first of all.
Gameplay with Dr. Doom Carnage, and Magneto. Also, this is small, but for me personally, they announced some new PlayStation classics coming throughout the summer. Onimusha, Dawn of Dreams, which is cool to see, especially with Onimusha like right around the corner. Also, Gitaru Man is coming back, the PS2 classic, as well as Psyops, the Mindgate Conspiracy. I never thought I'd see a game like this at a modern state of play, but here we are. Also, they announced Dynasty Warriors 3 Complete Edition Remastered. This is a full re-release remake of the original 2001 game, and it looks really good now. Well, those are 10 of the biggest announcements, so let us know in the comments what you thought. We'd love to hear
it's so
your reactions.
close.
What games caught your eye, if any. Please let us know, because it's always fun to... Please let us know, because it helps us figure out which videos on which games we should make. If you like this video, clicking the like button helps us out. We really appreciate it. And if you're new, consider subscribing, maybe hitting that notification bell, because we put out videos
Okay,
every
them
single day.
messing up
But
doesn't
until
make me
then,
feel
thanks for
bad
watching,
that
and we'll see
I
you
mess
guys
up
next
every
time.
now and then. Gonna watch.
Sterilizer, an enigma of damage, a utility utopia, the team enabler offering insane synergies, are things I would say if I was the unpaid PR team for the weapon.
Well,
I
that
am
sucks.
not. It is objectively one of the worst guns or sport weapons in the game, unfortunately, even after the recent buffs to both itself and gas, although the gas buffs were kind of a nerf to players, kind of, in certain ways. I'll go and explain most
I think
of
I'm
that,
gonna
and
die.
also bring up a random comparison to Helldivers 1, given the Tox 13 Avenger, which I assumed is what this weapon would be sort of mimicking, kind of, and that was a massive mistake. It's my bad, because in that game, the Tox 13 Avenger was nuts. You are just spewing sludge at enemies that kills the majority of chaff, lickety-split, takes out elites, or the heavies in that game, rather. Like, the Impaler and Charger equivalents get smoked. And the slowdown was genuinely impactful. Knowing that, flashback to the Chemical Agents Warbond, the first one to ever have stratagems, the Gas Dog and Sterilizer. And Sterilizer at the time just had
Damn.
a mist that would damage enemies very little. And
Ah, he's gonna
would
start
break
with
their
his fire
attacks.
bullshit.
They also, I believe, had less range. Recently, gas now slows down enemies, and Sterilizer emits a gas cloud.
Dude, I don't have
the
any block,
end of its
but I don't
instinct,
think I
where
need
you have a
block.
bit more range, and
Hit him
seemingly
for
you
4
should
2
have a better
times.
ability to apply that gas
Hit him for
effect
4
to
2
multiple
times. He's gonna
enemies,
take that hit.
given the lingering cloud. The problem with that is it actually fades very quickly, and wind can blow it away. It has anti-tank armor pen, which is cool in concept, but in this case, you're doing 1 DPS with the direct beam and 25 DPS with the constant effect. You
Okay.
cannot reapply or
This
put
is
more of it on enemy.
a little too nerdy for my taste. In terms of, I just want to see what people have to say about.
Sony busted out the big guns in its latest state of play, showing off a bunch of games headlined by a few star franchises. Welcome to the Inside Games Daily. This is your second episode of the day, and we just watched the state of play. Lawrence and I just came off the state of play. Are you excited for all video games all the time, Lawrence?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm going to be brave enough to say that was a pretty good state of play. If anything, I think return to form is a phrase that gets thrown around a lot, but I think specifically PlayStation identified certain factors.
I did.
They have correlated with success in the past, and I think they wanted to remind everyone that they still make those kinds of games, and they're coming pretty quickly. But yeah, to that point, the show did open with a deep look at Wolverine from Insomniac Games, confirming that Logan won't be alone and that other mutants will play a role in the story. It's coming out September 15th. Who was your favorite mutant, Brian?
Oh my god, all-time Gambit. I'm a Gambit guy.
I'm dead.
But yeah, it looked awesome. I thought this was Sony being,
I
don't know, PS4 era kick-ass Sony. We then moved to a wide slate of first and third-party games, positioning PlayStation's lineup as, you know, we got the mix of the big franchises, new IP, and they're definitely looking to, like Lawrence said, show like, look, we're still the first party.
And on top of that, Sean, my back
The announcements
hurts.
included Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, a fighting game from Arc System Works launching August 6th, along with Rayman.
But this is what I was going to be doing anyways. Might as well be live.
Spin-off from Dave the Diver.
The other major inclusions are Phantom Blade Zero, Dune Awakening with a console release date and a solo play option, No Rest for the Wicked, and Dynasty Warriors 3 Complete Edition Remastered.
We also got several action and horror titles. Onimusha, Way of the Sword, that releases September 25th. Silent Hill, Townfall, September 24th. Control Resident, also September 24th. And Lawrence, get excited, Ace Combat.
I don't even know what is the game you're playing, but I'm still watching and trying to understand. It's Slay the Spire. It's basically a card game.
The presentation also highlighted new or more experimental titles like Hollywood Stuntman. That's gonna be fun. I think it maybe Stuntman Hollywood is probably more what that is. Ill. I thought it said 3 in the script. It's Ill. ILL. Yeah. And RuneScape Dragon Wild's coming to PS5 alongside ongoing updates, of course, for Marathon.
Yeah, Brian, are you penciling in some alone time with RuneScape Dragon Wilds, or are you not? Are you sold on it?
I haven't played it. I'm more of an old school RuneScape, but I'll try it. Yeah, it's their new kind of action-y one, so yeah, sure.
All right, and the show closed with a major gameplay trailer for a new God of War entry, God of War Lao Fei, which is focused on Fei, that's Kratos' wife, showing her capture and setting up a darker narrative angle in an ancient Egyptian setting, underscoring Sony's push to end the showcase on one of its biggest franchises.
Yeah, all these games become Sony really needs a hit because its first-party game sales have been trending downward for years, and the company's latest financial results show just how dramatic that decline has been.
Yeah, we got some data released by...
I like how everybody's like, oh my god, why aren't video games selling? We don't have money. Games cost $70. Like, what do you mean? It's not that difficult.
Sony, thanks to the folks at GameFile who compiled it, the company sold 32.1 million first-party games across the PS4 and PS5 between April 2020.
Like, it's no coincidence that those are the 3 years that PlayStation literally raised the price. It's been the last 3 years where they're like, oh yeah, we're losing money. We're not making as much money as we used to. And I'm like, I wonder why that is. And it just so happens it correlates with them raising the price of the PlayStation 5 games. And it's like,
25 and March 2026. That seems great. No, it's not. Here's the bad news. Compared to 5 years ago, that was a drop of more than 26 million games.
And that was when they were on fire. That was kind of like Marvel Spider-Man territory and The Last of Us. I think they had launched like 5 remasters in 1 year. So they've cooled off a little bit since then. Sony actually hit a high point during a 12-month stretch between spring 2020 and
I do too. I talked to her the other day.
Everything was bustling back then. That's when they sold 58.4 million first-party games. That includes major hits such as The Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima, as well as the launch of the PS5 in general.
So if you fast forward several years, and the picture looks very different here. Despite releases such as Astrobot, which won the Game of the Year, and Ghost of Yotei, Sony's first-party sales.
It's not a coincidence that your Game of the Year was $60. Not only was it a really fun game, a really good-looking game, it was low budget, and it was $60. It got Game of the Year, and it sold like a bunch of copies. Last time I checked, it was like 10, if I'm not mistaken, or 7.
Far below their previous highs. That could be attributed to COVID, but also I don't think that Sony wants to see these numbers at 26 million less than 2021.
Yeah, and that also just the downward slope might reinforce a concern among some PlayStation fans who have had throughout the current generation that while Sony continues to sell millions of consoles, they spent years acquiring studios, they haven't really produced the same number of big first-party hits that really defined previous years, and that definitely seemed what this state of play was aimed at.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think
it's a mobile card game, essentially, but not really a mobile. It's more PC. I don't know if it's on mobile. If it's not on mobile, they should
now we should
they should really.
An important caveat here: Sony's best year coincided with COVID-19, as a lot of video game companies did. Yeah. A lot of lockdowns around the world led to an absolute surge in video game spending. It's retracted a little since then. I think a lot of people are happy that it's kind of settled out higher than they expected it to land, but still, it's rolled back a little now that people can actually go outside.
But GameFile notes that overall game sales.
Oh yeah, and there was a pandemic, so during that time, PlayStation was making all-time high money on $60 games while people were inside a pandemic. Like,
PlayStation platforms have not fallen at the same rate as Sony's first-party releases. That's the important part. So it's not just the post-pandemic hangover, which the whole industry has been suffering from for the last few years. It is that Sony is not selling as many first-party games as maybe they should be.
Yeah, it was a drop of like 26 million. That's almost half. That is well more than the retraction that anyone saw post-COVID. Sales receded by about 10 to 20%. I want to say this is all just informal stuff, but
I can see Osmongold and all these other people who are like the most like miserable people on the planet that are like, they think everything's woke, that everything that has a woman or has like, it's like that doesn't have a woman with a big rack or like super attractive, like have no idea what art style is, are gonna blame it because, oh yeah, PlayStation stopped making hot characters that we care about, and it's like, oh, please go away.
But yeah, I was keeping an eye on it. So yeah, I really just think it's because Sony hasn't released any products that really ignite people's excitement. Just a lot of sequels, if they do get the sequels out, things like Spider-Man 2 or Ghost of Yotei, that look like or even God of War Ragnarok, they kind of seem just like a bigger, maybe even noisier version of the thing before. And I think people, especially now that, again, since post-COVID, we're in a game flood, we're just wash and choice, that it seems like a game that seems similar to one you've already played. It doesn't rank as high on your priority queue as something that's new and exciting and unique.
Yeah, we were talking about this on stream. Lawrence and I were talking about this on stream, but like the fact that they are way down in first-party sales, and now they're like, all right, now we're only selling on a PlayStation. We're not selling on PC, which is kind of shocking because I think they're assuming that the God of Wars and their Intergalactics are going to sell consoles. They think they can make more money on console sales that they then have to sell in order to get the first-party releases. So there's a lot of big ifs there, and I don't necessarily know they're going to be able to deliver on in the next, I guess, 3 to 4 years.
Part of me just worries that they're kind of playing an old game a little bit, and this games of service as a service world that we live in.
Okay, I'll take that.
You make all your money with these big first-party games that have only gotten more and more expensive, so they're big gambles. I mean, I hope I'm wrong, and I hope like Wolverine's a huge hit, and they have some big ones, but it feels a little bit old-fashioned to me, and I can't really verbalize why, but I think it's so crowded, and I feel like everybody's kind of got their games that they play, and it's tough for any new game, and when they cost hundreds of millions of dollars now, I'm a little bit worried.
Yeah, I think that's totally valid and super insightful. Yeah, it seems like Sony wanted to communicate that they're still the 2019 PlayStation, but it's not 2019 anymore. And the things that worked back then, yes, you could dazzle people with a very high-profile, high-budget, minimally interactive sequence of Peter Parker flipping through, photorealistic Manhattan. That was enough to wow people and get them to buy consoles. Now that, Brian, as you said, we're just swimming in high-profile games that are constantly hitting us with bombast. It's not as unique as it used to be. So when PlayStation's going back, like, hey,
I don't know if I agree with that.
I'm not sure that it's going to help them stand out in the way that it used to. But we'll see. Like kind of like Bruce was saying, I want these games to succeed. I do like me some big, expensive, dumb games. And Wolverine, God of War, calling them dumb is a little unfair, but it's going to be a lot of screaming and explosions, and that's kind of what I consider like a dumb game. So I'm into it. I love it whenever just fire hoses of money are pointed at me by big console manufacturers. So that's what I look forward to in those games. But yeah, I think people are kind of exhausted of that, weirdly.
At the end of State of Play 2, they're showing, I guess, the release years for their games. It was like 2026, 2027. God of War is in development. So that means that we're not getting that game in even 2027. That's probably a 2028. Maybe, if we're lucky, 2028. And so this is, again, that's a huge bet for years and years and years, hundreds of millions of dollars to pass this down the line and be like, well, I hope it sells more consoles in 2028. The PS5 is going to be long in the tooth around that time. Maybe they have the PS6 in 2028. but the PS6, people aren't going to buy that for God of War Lao Fei. No way. So this is a very strange spot that Sony finds themselves in right now because they blew so much time on those live services. There's 5 years of live service just money burning. That is just really put them in a really terrible.
I'm surprised there weren't ashes sprinkling down in front of the presenters during the state of play from all the money they burned. It does. This is maybe a weird analogy, but I do kind of think of like the old Hollywood studios and by like the 60s, like the big epics like Ten Commandments and stuff that cost a bazillion dollars weren't selling tickets and like they almost went out of business. Like they had to basically turn it over to Martin Scorsese and Steven Spielberg and all these sort of essentially indie filmmakers and say, do something the kids are going to want to see. And so you look at the newer stuff like Mina the Hall and all that. It's like, I don't know, there's just so much choice out there. It's just, even from 5 years ago. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Like, they're definitely going back to the playbook. Screw it, let's do it. Like, this is what we're known for. So I really do hope it works.
Thank you.
Part of their strategy, kind of like Bruce was saying. No.
I think people underestimate that that PlayStation is still PlayStation. They're still gonna have a game that's gonna be a game of the year contender every single year, and I don't think that that's gonna change anytime soon. Like I agree that there's a giant pool of games out there, but I still feel that PlayStation still has those games that's like has that certain style that people like, that it looks nice, it plays nice, and it has a great story. And yeah, so like I think it'll still work.
People probably aren't going to buy a PS6 to play God of War Lao Fei, especially if it'll run on a PS5.
Thank you, Shauna.
People will buy a PlayStation 6 because it's the kind of console that gets games like God of War Lao Fei. At least that's what PlayStation believes is their power and their sales. And that's also why I think they've chosen to go back to console exclusivity to reinforce that association of prestige. But yeah, have we moved out of that? Is that no longer trendy? It's possible. We've had 10 years of those kinds of games, and that is so. PlayStation may be able to reinforce that association, but I don't know if that association sells consoles anymore. I don't think anyone knows what sells consoles anymore. Kind of like what Brian was saying. So yeah, and now it's just we just get you can, and in a similar way you kind of see it in the sales in the games that explode. No one can say why, and no one can any attempt to recreate it also is like boring. We've seen that before. So yeah, there's really no formula anymore, and that's what makes spending hundreds of millions of dollars on a game that comes out 7 years down the line an increasingly just impossible prospect.
Yeah, they might be playing a losing game. We've been saying for a long time the consoles are kind of going the way of the dinosaur. They haven't yet. But this is a really strange spot for the company.
I don't think consoles are going anywhere. I think it's sensationalism when anybody's like, the consoles are gonna go extinct. I'm like, bro, just to build a computer that's like decent in order for you to decent in order for you to play a game, you have to spend at least $1,000 right now, $1,200, $1,300. And yeah, the little I want to see what he says.
I have been waiting for a while to read this one, and I kind of knew it was coming. Marvel's Wolverine has finally given us a glimpse of what it's going to be like to step into Logan's shoes, and the showcase that we got at the recent State of Play has me convinced that we've got a banger on our hands. Let's put aside the reveal of Jean Grey and Sabretooth for a minute, and the way the combat system feels like a comic book in motion. It's the way the game's story and the way its gameplay loop has directly addressed my concerns that have me quite enthusiastic to dive into this one. Well, a lot more enthusiastic than I was before I witnessed the showcase magic unfold. But what's made that the case? How have these two factors taken precedence over a couple
looks like one of my
reviews that
uncles.
have me grinning from ear to ear? I'm more than happy to answer those questions. Scratch that. I'm delighted. Let's go.
Shit's gassing off. Not today, Papa.
Getting Logan right. It's probably a good idea to start with what had me worried before I get into how these concerns have been addressed. I remember thinking about how Insomniac Games was going to incorporate the brutality that comes with any story involving good old Logan into its gameplay loop.
What about now?
Certainly couldn't make things the way it did in the Spider-Man titles for certain. Peter Parker and Miles Morales might have superhuman strength, but their moral compasses were way too black and white to accommodate the gray areas that Logan's usually prowling. There are a couple of reasons for why that became a point of debate for me. The first one was Logan's healing factor, and the fact that enemies throwing punches at an immortal skeleton wasn't going to end too well for them. That would leave us playing a character who was virtually invincible. Secondly, there's also the fact that Logan's claws were going to tear through fools who were made of flesh and blood, but were still either brave or dumb enough to stand in his way. How could a game's combat system click if its rank-and-file enemies were nothing more than cannon, or claw in this case, fodder? No amount of fancy animations could have saved this one from a level of wrath that even Logan would be proud of from its players if that were the case. Third, I was hoping against hope that this story wasn't going to bring in Logan's amnesia. That's a character beat that's been whipped out far too often at this point, and I would have rather a version of Logan that was self-assured and already in possession of the full spectrum of his memories. I wanted a take on Wolverine that factored in the pain and the loss of a virtually immortal being, instead of the confusion and feral rage of a man without his memories. Well, the story and combat...
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, the whole amnesia thing is kind of played out with Logan. It's a little annoying.
have addressed all three of these in ways that have me very impressed. I was expecting a sort of compromise between Wolverine's powers and thought only of the Sentinels when I thought of being capable of taking on the Grizzled Warrior. But things have changed, and definitely for the better.
Yeah, that'll work.
The right narrative framing. It's time to get to the meat of things, and the story is a good place to start. Things are looking bleak for mutant kind in this world, and the situation that Logan is a part of in the showcase is quite grim. Helpless mutants being rounded up by operatives in the employ of Bolivar Trask definitely raised the stakes right off the bat for Logan. But it's who those operatives
I gotta
are
beat
that
this
has
guy
me
soon or
psyched
else I'm
for
gonna die.
Wolverine as I am. They're
You're gonna
the
die.
Reavers, an anti-mutant group that's had a long history with the X-Men in the comics, and are probably the best equipped group to try and put a stop to Logan's rampages in the game. I'm almost certain that we're going to meet Donald Pierce at some point, and the fact that
I'm
Trask
dead.
is part of the whole thing is a great way of explaining why mutants are being rounded
Oh
up.
wait, no, I'm
They
not.
don't even say a word.
I'm alive again. I'm dead now.
Okay, that takes care of the potential pitfall of enemies falling too easily to Logan's attacks. The Reavers are capable of putting up a good fight, and we even see Logan take quite a beating
I
from
think
one of the
now I'm
larger
dead.
ones in the group, which
Right?
forces him to unleash his rage and accelerate his healing factor. More on that in a bit. They're well-trained and well-equipped, and I can't wait to take them on when the game drops. If only to uncover more of their plans and perhaps fight a
Is
few
it
of their
echoing
high-ranking
still?
members. There's also the Jean Grey reveal, and the seemingly solid working relationship that she shares with Logan in the game. They look like they've been trying to uncover the truth behind mutant kidnappings, while Insomniac has revealed that they're part of Team X, a task force of sorts that is now all that stands between the mutants and those who seek to harm them. It's in how Logan interacts with her, though, that's captured my interest. They seem quite comfortable with each other, which not only helps ease my concerns about a narrative where Logan doesn't know who he is, while also setting up the scope for some very visceral combat moves. Jean isn't holding back in this one, and I'm wondering whether the Phoenix is going to come into play at some point. That certainly would be a challenge for Logan's healing factor, and it could make for an incredible set piece too. Of course, there's apparently no shortage of set pieces in this one, which brings me to the game's combat system.
Gotcha.
Your mind shorted.
Visceral and satisfying. It's rare to see a combat system that's satisfying just to watch, but here we are. Like Jean, Logan's cutting loose in this one, and it's a facet of the experience that I'm absolutely delighted by. The Reavers can bear the brunt of his attacks just enough to dish out some damage of their own, and that balances out the dilemma of Logan being nigh unstoppable in this one. But of course, he heals, and does so at a pace that any normal foe would be hard-pressed to keep up with. But it's looking like his healing factor is directly tied to his rage, in a system that looks like a solid balance between accelerated healing and some truly stunning takedowns, both of which look quite reliant on keeping Logan's temper at optimal levels in order to make the most.
I wouldn't be surprised if they have some people that worked on the God of War 3 and the original God of War like mainline games that came before Atreus came around. I think that I wouldn't doubt that there's people working on that game like at all. Like I wouldn't be
The
surprised.
berserker in him. But he's also more than able to take a quiet approach, which adds another layer of tactical thinking to the gameplay loop. It looks quite similar to what was on offer in Spider-Man, although Insomniac may have a few surprises up its sleeves on that front in the run-up to the game's release. But the real star of the show, for me, was the ability to coordinate attacks with your fellow companions. Jean and Logan brought some moves that reflect extensive time spent in the field fighting off bad guys, an indicator of their time as part of Team X, and hopefully as members of the X-Men if the story has the space for that kind of thing. It's a perfect extension of my joy at finding out that Logan has his memories. An unfortunate offshoot of that particular problem was that he was unwilling to place his trust in others, and often operated as a lone wolf whose people skills were dismal, to put it kindly. However, he seems gruffly okay with whatever arrangement he has with his comrades in this one, and it's a take on the character that could showcase his value as a loose cannon capable of unleashing controlled chaos on the battlefield. Insomniac seems to have its finger on the pulse of what has made Wolverine tick as a character over the years, and is using that knowledge to give us a version of him that seems fresh yet comfortingly familiar. It's a kind of balance that looks like it could bring Logan straight from the pages of our favorite comics to a game that blends the best of them with an original story that seems tailor-made to make fans of the character very happy indeed. And it's Marvel Wolverine's biggest strength at this point. It's why I'm very optimistic about this one's chances, and the reason I'm going to pre-order it as soon as I possibly can. I expect to be talking about this one a lot more once September comes along, but for now, all I can do is wait as patiently as I can for a title that I've been looking forward to for years. I've now lost my reservations about it in the last couple of hours, and you can be sure I'll be joining you for the adventure later this year. Hey, did you know that Wade Gaming Bolt upload new videos every...
There's gonna be like 8 games coming out in September, which is insane. Let's see.
Hey everyone, Logan here from IGN and Nintendo Voice Chat, and I recently had the
I will say that Star Fox 64 has a special place in my heart, and it's probably one of the best Star Fox game ever made. I played the original Star Fox on the original Nintendo, the NES, and before the Super Nintendo came out, I played that game. Well, no, it was on the Super Nintendo that it came out on, and I don't remember. It was on one of those consoles, and I remember playing that Star Fox game and remembering like, holy shit! Not only is this hard, but it's like it was a really good looking game for its time, and it had a nice art style. And then Star Fox 64 came out and was like kind of like the game that you needed to play on the 64. It was fun. The story was fun. It was challenging. And it had like all these secret things. Like for the longest time, I owned the game for like 3 or 4 years. I never knew how to get to the other side of the galaxy until like I was told that you had to go under like all the canyons and stuff like that. That I didn't know that. And so I must have played at least 200 hours of the first Star Fox 64. So like this
chance to play about an hour and a
better be
half
good.
of Star Fox on Nintendo Switch 2, and I walked out of my preview in disbelief at how excited I was to tell you all about a remake of a game I've already played several times. This new take on the classic Star Fox 64 is not just a simple fresh coat of paint like the 3DS version. Instead, it's shaping up to be a significantly expanded and surprisingly cinematic retelling of the Lylat Wars, thanks to an overhauled, expanded script that's brought to life by some of the strongest voice acting and cutscene direction I've ever seen in a Nintendo game.
That's interesting, considering Nintendo never does cinematic games like that.
Star Fox punches up its story and characters while keeping the original's level design and gameplay completely intact. But its stages certainly don't feel old or out of place by comparison. Its crisp graphics, snappy controls, and majestic orchestral soundtrack match the grand scope Nintendo appears to be aiming for.
Yeah, I've always said Star Fox needed to be a little bit more
another version of
cinematic.
64 instead of an all-new entry. That was my gut reaction too until I came around on this announcement. But given that this is the reality, it is hard for me to imagine a better realization of Star Fox 64 in 2026.
Enemy targets up ahead. Let's rock and roll!
All aspects of Star Fox's modern presentation bring it closer to what this series has always felt like. It's Star Wars: A New Hope with animals. Yet series creator Shigeru Miyamoto was inspired by several other science fiction series when developing the original, but Star Fox's parallels with Star Wars have always been the most
I'm gonna
visible.
regret going this path,
Blockbuster take evokes that comparison,
but I want the
New
cards,
cutscenes feature
so
Fox, Falco, Peppy, and Slippy gathered around a hologram of General Pepper as they receive their next mission orders, reminiscent of the rebellion plotting their course to destroy the Death Star. Fluttering woodwinds decorate the soundscape as the camera pans down from the Great Fox to the planet that its ragtag band of pilots are heading to. Star Fox's sci-fi world feels grimy like Star Wars does too, and the new art direction contributes to its lived-in feeling. Fox looks somewhere between a cartoon action hero and a real-life fox, with visible whiskers and ears that fold back when he's talking. After seeing it in motion, this risky direction completely works for me. Fox looks a little stinky, and I'm sure he probably is. But don't you think Chewbacca smells pretty ripe, too? The cinematic
he does look a little bit
for Star
stinky.
Fox than simply reminding me of a galaxy far, far away. I'm a firm believer that just because a video game is quote-unquote more cinematic doesn't automatically make it better. It's how a game leverages that decision that really counts. And in this case, the result so far is that Star Fox's universe feels fleshed out and important. And I'm already more attached to this version of the crew than in any prior Star Fox game. This is a space opera, and the bigger focus on characters and world building adds meaningful weight to each mission I fought through. The higher stakes start as early as the opening training mission, which has been significantly reworked. Instead of dryly learning the basics on his own, Fox has joined in a virtual reality combat simulation with his 3 companions, giving me a chance to learn their personalities at the same time as the controls. Slippy is as clumsy as ever, slamming into Fox's R-Wing by mistake, which Peppy made sure to chew him out for. Falco bragged about stealing a couple of Fox's kills, which was the first of many signs to show that they're leaning even harder into their rivalry. After learning all the ins and outs of my R-Wing, Falco cranked up the simulation to the highest difficulty he could, literally past the point where it was covered by the crew's warranty. And I was swarmed with bogeys until the whole thing crashed. This was a charming spin on a tutorial, and it rolled straight into my first cutscene where the crew tore off their VR headsets and started chatting. I was immediately impressed by the voice acting and animation. There was a real believability to each of the characters.
Now I want to
Helped
switch for this
lip-syncing them, not just the English dialogue,
game.
which is a real rarity for Nintendo games.
I need to
along
switch
with
too.
Quality facial animations and eye movements. Unfortunately, the cutscenes do appear to run at a disappointing 30 FPS compared to the perfectly smooth 60 FPS during gameplay. It was jarring to jump between the two. I'll note here that any off-screen footage you're seeing was shot at 1080p 60 FPS using my phone's camera, so it doesn't do full justice to how great the game looks in person, where the resolution is surely much higher than that.
Let's see what he has to say for himself.
Next, we descended to Corneria, the recreated opening level from the original. The fantastic attention to detail remained on display as warnings like "keep limbs clear" were visible near transforming mechanical parts of the R-Wing, and Falco had painted blue feathered wings on the back of his. The R-Wing feels incredible to control. It smoothly glides around the screen during the on-rail segments, and the control stick reacts to minute adjustments like it's really my flight stick. It also struck me how great it felt to play a home console Star Fox with traditional controls. The only other Star Fox in Nintendo's HD era was chained to an unintuitive control scheme on Wii U. Returning to a standard control scheme brought on a sense of relief, similar to swinging Link's sword with a button press again after the era of waggle and touchscreen experiments. I revisited Star Fox 64 ahead of time to prepare, so I instantly fell into the rhythm of destroying enemies with my laser and bombs while trying to rack up as many hits as I could. The enemy placement and pacing of the stage appeared to be completely identical to the N64 and 3DS versions, but the level design absolutely holds up. Saving Slippy in the opening water area, flying through the canyon until the ruined city revealed itself, and blasting baddies out of the sky was still exciting, made even fresher by the gorgeous graphics and amazing music. The best word I can use to describe Star Fox's visuals is crisp. Things like trees and the ground don't have the most finely detailed textures you've ever seen, but when you're boosting by them on what's essentially a roller coaster, the clean art style shines. And they've nailed the most important parts. The R-Wing itself looks fantastic in motion, the colorful background set the mood perfectly, especially in outer space, and the glowing polygonal enemies look great, especially when they're exploding. It sounds wonderful too, with satisfying metal clanks when you shoot down enemies. The script during missions has received a huge facelift as well. It's a cliche to say a video game remake looks like I remember it in my head, but that's actually the reaction I had to the dialogue. Star Fox 64 always felt fresh for how the characters talked to each other during combat, reacted to friendly fire, and had different things to say based on your gameplay. It's still very cool in the original, but very limited by modern standards. I compared the mission conversations in Star Fox on Switch 2 directly to the script from Star Fox 64, and there's so much more here. The scenario is the same, but it's fleshed out. For example, when Falco talks about issues with his G-diffuser, Slippy now chimes in by saying, "That's why you shouldn't rush a systems check." They respond to each other more than before, and it is building a greater sense of camaraderie amongst the crew. I also adore this take on Slippy Toad. He's more self-aware that he's not a great pilot. He's calmer in tense situations, and he has complete faith in his crew to bail him out. I can't wait for the full game to see how the stronger focus on characters pays off in the end. But one iconic line, of course, was left completely unchanged. There was an instance of changed dialogue I'm more mixed on, though. Longtime Star Fox players know that to reach the secret route on Corneria, you need to successfully kill the bogies on Falco's tail and then fly under all of these archways, which will impress Falco and cause him to take you on an alternate path. This isn't really hinted at whatsoever in the old script, but now Falco explicitly tells you that the archways look like a good obstacle course, directly referencing the secret. It's not a huge deal, and maybe it was overly obtuse before, but it feels a bit less like a special discovery waiting to be found and more like a clearly telegraphed objective.
No, because originally that should have been telegraphed. Like what Nintendo understands from that era is that Star Fox 64 was a space opera. It was 100% a space opera, and they know they should have leaned into it a little more than they have, and they have so far. And the ship should have had upgrades. You should have been able to do all kinds of customizations, but it was in the Nintendo 64 era, and like I think they realized now, let's flex some of those muscles. We have a really strong console. Like it's not extremely strong, but it has good upscaling AI. Like let's take it to the full extent. And one of the things is like you don't put obscure things in there in a gameplay to mess up the gameplay flow, and like me not figure it out for 70 hours until somebody tells you, because back then there was no internet to look up like, oh, how do you get to the other side? So I just kind of just played it like that. And yeah, one thing I do hope they let you do is play as Falco, like at least in co-op, because I've always wanted to play as Falco. I'm like, why is this guy so cocky? What makes him so like unique that makes him so cocky? And yeah, like I still haven't seen what it is, and like I need to see. I hope they lean into that more.
I was actually instructed by the Nintendo PR rep to avoid the arches and take the normal path on my first playthrough, but I did get to replay Corneria in co-op to see the alternate route through to the end. In 2-player, one person pilots the R-Wing, while the other uses the Joy-Con 2's mouse controls to aim the reticle and shoot. I was the pilot, so I didn't get to directly go hands-on with the mouse controls myself, but my gunner said they felt great. From my perspective though, co-op was honestly pretty boring. I didn't really enjoy flying the ship around with no control over combat, and this mode feels best suited for parents to try out with their kids. No one could stop me from pursuing the alternate path on the second stage, Meteo, where you need to fly through all of these portals in one go to jump through hyperspace to an unknown location. I knew I only had one shot to pull this off in my limited preview time, and it felt great when I nailed the final portal, and even better when the PR folks behind me were chatting about how even they hadn't seen that alternate path yet in the remake. I was warped to an amazing rift with beautiful hues of purple and orange, where I used my bombs to rack up tons of hits by destroying meteors.
One of my
Enough of the
favorite
starting medal
areas.
for the stage, and I'm excited to eventually medal every stage in the full game, along with completing the new optional achievements added to each level. Finally, I got to check out the new 4 vs 4 multiplayer dogfights, and while it was easily the weakest part of my preview, I still think there's potential here for a fun side mode. We tried 2 matches where the objective was to steal cargo from NPC space pirates and deliver it to our ship.
I'm getting
It was all about
distracted.
coordinating with your team to decide who would grab the cargo and who would defend them from the enemy team as they transported back to base. I've always preferred Star Fox's on-rail sections to the all-range mode portions where you can fly in any direction, so the multiplayer dogfights haven't entirely clicked with me yet. Still, it was genuinely exciting to shoot down an enemy ship. But with only 3 maps and 1 mode on each, I'm not sure how much of a player base the multiplayer will find, but at least you can easily fill the empty slots with bots. I also tried the hilarious game chat avatars where the Nintendo Switch 2 camera uses your movements on a Star Fox character, and I was shocked at how accurate it was. Fox blinked when I did, the mouth movements were surprisingly good, and when we had 4 characters on screen in their cockpits, it was so funny to see them all focusing on the battle. I can definitely see people having a great time with this gimmick in the full game, and it's probably the best use of the Switch 2's camera so far. And it's just another example of Nintendo pulling out all the
Oh
stops from
god, you
this
can see
remake.
people are gonna make memes out of this.
Star Fox is out on Switch 2 on June 25th, and contrary to what Star Wars characters usually say, I've got a great feeling about this one. For more previews of the biggest upcoming games, don't miss our recent hands-on looks at Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced
Okay,
and
I gotta
Aliens Fireteam Elite 2,
put on another
and for
video.
everything else in the
Knocking out all my videos, all my nerdy videos.
Did you see this? This is making the rounds. People have been selling access to their PlayStation Plus collection. I guess selling access to their names and people are downloading the games, but then people are getting banned for doing this or whatever.
Right.
And so just something to keep an eye on, I guess, if you're one of those, a merchant of digital wares. I will say that I've never dealt with PlayStation support directly because the one time that I had a problem, my PS3 broke, I remember back in the day. And Sony learned about it from Podcast Beyond and just sent me another one. Dude, listen, I've worked in PlayStation ecosystem long enough to, I get Podcast Beyond especially, used to get messages all the time from people. I got banned, I did this and that, and then you like look in and 9 out of 10 times it's like, what did you did something wrong. Simplest explanations, right? They don't want to ban you from PlayStation Store. They don't. They probably look for every reason not to ban you from PlayStation Store. And so
Take an extra turn after this one in your turn.
yeah, it is reasonable to ask them, what did you do? And they don't want to discard any of you. You have to like literally force them, like force their hand. If I was banned or one of us was banned on Sony and we had means to do it, could we sue them?
I actually lost my Xbox account when somebody from South America used like my FIFA access to hack it and move everything to Spanish, etc. And I wound up on phone calls with Xbox a number of times, and they were unable to restore the account.
That just seems unbelievable to me that someone can hijack someone's account and then they're like, yeah, we don't even know. What are you doing that you get banned?
Well, look at the many people that have written into us that have had situations happen to them that they got hacked or something weird with their account.
Right, but again, these are dishonest brokers. The next person who complains about the camera, you're banned, and we're hitting you with an ad.
Goodness.
And we're going to blame it all on you. Trent Miller 8556 wrote in, said PlayStation Network gets hacked and everyone loses all of their trophy data. He actually says loses. Are there any games you go back to get the platinum for, first platinum for? No, if my trophies went away, I would retire from video games.
Wow. He was posting so many, not just him, but there were so many messages going around in the Discord after that call that I don't know what he said afterwards that I can't
Are you okay? Yeah, I'm just getting a bunch of emails.
Oh.
Anyway, so with Randy, I feel like he was in better shape. You know?
Right.
So I don't know how he lost
I'm
sight
gonna
of
get
it.
hit hard.
It's a little weird, in my opinion.
Wonder if they did it. Oh, they did. I don't want to see them watch it.
I don't.
Old and hungry for veg.
Don't need to see any more of that. Tokon is not my kind of game.
I do like that it's more vertical.
Yeah, I can see that as being a Devil May Cry sort of inspiration. Oh, wow, Devil May Cry. It looks great. The universe is what bothers me a little bit. The gameplay looks awesome. I don't give up. Can't really argue with that. I wish we could see the HUD.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you weren't impressed with that last part of the game, I would have to question if you like for reals. That's how good that was. And yeah, I want to see what these guys say about it. Oh, and this is where all the dead gods go to, and where all magic goes to, and Faye's fighting two different God of Wars. It's insane.
What is that name? I don't understand that.
I think that's her name. I think it's her full name.
Oh, okay. Is this some mythological thing I don't understand? Community. Rayman Legends, so I'll definitely buy that. And then we Bancho the Chef, Kemery, Tomb Raider, that game The Lost Wild, Phantom Blade Zero, Dune Awakening, Dynasty Warrior 3, No Rest for the Wicked, Animusha, Silent Hill, Ace Combat, the both of them, Stuntman Hollywood, Ill, Control Resonant, Marathon, RuneScape, Gitaru Man, Psyops, Animusha. Those are 3 classics. Until Dawn 2 and God of War. I mean, really, that's kind of no less than a B+. Right? I mean, that's actually a pretty strong catalog of games, to be honest.
I think on paper, yes. I think the issue is so here's something that I've been thinking about with these showcases. Are we grading them on what is there, or are we grading them on how they've showcased it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Because the way that I feel about it is that's maybe a C+ show. It started off very strong. I thought the Wolverine was cool, and I think it was going on pretty well from there.
I thought it was B+,
big moment
at least.
Is big, but there was the leak, so it kind of got a little bit spoiled. But then also I just thought, even without the leak, I don't think that's the way you show that game, really.
That's like the second or third time you show that game, maybe.
Yeah, that's not the unveiling of that game. And I'm sure it'll be great, and I'm sure I have a lot of questions about what was going on in that, and I'm intrigued. And if I had it, if I was playing the game, if I owned it and I was sitting there playing it, I would keep playing because I would want to know what the fuck was going on. But I'm, you know what I mean? It's not in front of me, so I'm just kind of left being okay, I guess. So I feel I don't know. That's a C+ or maybe B- max on the on the show.
Come on.
I think what's here is cool, but
I think for me it's probably in the C range. If C is average and not bad, then it is literally a C. For me personally, like, and I'm saying you're asking how I personally feel, not like I'm not trying to be objective on behalf of what everyone should feel, but like Wolverine, we saw gameplay and that was pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know. Tokon, cool. Like Until Dawn 2 was kind of an interesting one.
Yeah, it's exciting.
I've seen Control a million times, it feels like at this point. The Tomb Raider game, cool to see an update. I guess it's like a lot of updates and release dates, I think, is what makes it kind of have a bit of a lackluster feel. I think the expectations were set slightly higher with the runtime and the being in movie theaters. And the big, like, if you're a God of War fan, like hardcore, then maybe it's an A+ for you because you're absolutely pumped about that game. But it's like, seeing the God of War trailer, I'm like, man, I'm kind of over it over the last 2 games. Like, I get that the combat is a little bit more aerial, but like, the last God of War game had a little bit of aerial combat too. Like, you could launch guys up and then slash them in the air. So it's like,
It was not as different. It was not as differentiated as the rumor suggested.
Exactly. So,
which is weird because I feel like they could have done that just by pulling the camera out.
Yeah,
you could have pulled the camera out and had like a pretty distinctively different kind of God of War going. And the thing to me is just like you can't say 20 minutes of gameplay and it's just like not really. Like that's a dumb way to set that up in my opinion. Like you say, like this is the first 20 minutes of because like what are you doing? That was maybe combined. I think genuinely maybe like 3.5 minutes of gameplay. Like earnestly.
Yeah. No, I think you're right.
So what are we doing? Like I don't know. It's just like it's again some cool stuff there, but like I don't know, dude.
Bradley, weird.
Yeah. In terms of God of War or whatever, I think it has promise. In terms of like whatever the God of War rumors or sorry,
I think it has more than promise.
This is the very beginning of the game or very early, so I'm assuming the combat will expand a lot more. So I'm not trying to be too harsh on it. I do like there is more focus on air compared to the other ones. That's fun. But I don't know. I agree. I think this was like maybe the wrong way to show it. I get why they did it, but that might have been cooler for like second or third reveal.
Right.
Maybe. I think if they just had like a 3-minute trailer of just like action that moved a lot, it would have helped. Because, dude, I definitely know it was dragging a lot.
I need an adult. I'm gonna die.
Parts in that whole shebang. Because it was cool to get a look at it, but
yeah, they didn't need to do it like that. I don't think.
I don't think you needed to do it that much. In terms of the other games, there's some cool games here. I'm pretty excited. There was just nothing like really, I guess, crazy. There's none of those like really crazy moments where we were like really shocked. I actually think
I feel like
that would have been a pretty shocking moment, I suppose. But yeah, unfortunately, it got leaked, so that's unfortunate for them. But I was kind of surprised.
Look at me fucking yawning over here.
I don't really care for Until Dawn, but I was like, that one looks better. So
that was the most surprising thing to me. That and Stuntman.
I was
surprised to see Stuntman again. That was the most surprising.
There is cool like little things like that. There's just
I'm
nothing
dead.
like really outstanding.
That was a bad build anyways.
And that weird Phantom Blade thing.
That wasn't a good build.
We're gonna show you more at some point.
Yeah,
like, why even?
It was very mediocre.
I don't understand. No Fair Games is really funny to me. Also,
that is also
maybe they just were like, "No, fuck it, dude. We know we're gonna get owned if we do it." So they just avoided it.
There's also the potential that.
All right, I need to break real quick. My back hurts. I'm gonna go stretch it out.
Keeley event.
I will be right back.
Something like that. I don't know, but I'm trying to remain fair-minded. I'm actually becoming quite obsessed in my mind here at this preliminary moment of they were really
Leave me alone. I'm gonna roll slower now. Just for you. Okay, I'm back. Got a whole thing of Dr. Pepper Zero. Ready to go.
To not leaking. When you think about how long they made it. And
Right.
I mean, it leaked so late that thing was probably what they just showed was probably fully set up and they were ready to go. And it probably is that someone saw. So when you see the way they describe it and stuff like that. I think what's cool about it is, if I was at IGN, like I was back in the day, we would do what we used to call rewind theaters, where you would like tear apart the trailer and like go into all the things. People that know this shit and love this shit are gonna have a field day because there's absolutely a lot of hints in there. It does seem like it is a multiple pantheon situation, like where there's different, perhaps different gods or different,
They're gonna go.
I'm gonna see.
I feel like we're getting to diminishing returns with Sony's style of game, like that narrative kind of quippy side characters, all that kind of stuff. The Marvel,
yeah.
I mean, it's true. I don't know. I don't want to oversell, but I think people are just getting kind of tired of that thing.
I understand that. I mean, so that's me being kind of fair to it, and I want to be fair, as I said during it, that it's like I'm not really a God of War fan. Who am I to realize? Like, who am I to criticize God of War? Like God of War, since its very first game, has been huge, and it's bigger than it's ever been. God of War 2018, God of War Ragnarok are massive games. So I understand that, but it's not one of my favorite ideas. So it's like I don't want more of it, and that's what. That's just a matter of taste, I guess. And I think the thing that I look at with the first parties, especially, but this is true with all AAA, especially, is that there's just such a major opportunity cost today. There's no. This is going to be. You might get six of these in your career at this point. You know what I mean? Like, and as players, it's like I guess my honest truth is that when I heard that Cory Barlog, when he did direct Ragnarok and he was doing something else, I thought he was doing something else. And it's just a little disappointing, I guess. I feel like the final product is. I mean, people that are saying this game, the game looks awesome. It's just a matter of like we're only getting 2 of these a year or so, right? Maybe 3 for the year, like big AAA productions for PlayStation. It's like, so this occupies a space, and I just would love to see you finally do something new at that studio. And they just aren't going to. It seems like they're really investing. Sony's really investing in IPI of like going for expanding, going,
yeah,
cross media of all that. I see it and I recognize it, but
he's not wrong. Like, if you were expecting like something new from Sony Santa Monica, when it comes to this game, like when it comes to Sony Santa Monica, there was rumors that Cory Barlog was doing some kind of space game, and maybe he's still doing it like on the side. But he's creative, like director, like he's the creative director of Sony Santa Monica. So he's not director of God of War anymore. He looks over all the creative in Sony Santa Monica. So like I think that's a less stressful job than director, and B, he still gets to like open, like he said at the beginning of God of War, when the new God of War came out in 2018, he said that they basically have a Bible of the universe, like a Bible of everything that's going on in the universe, and so like they're trying to execute that Bible right now. And so essentially what they're doing is they're making a whole universe. And Sony's like, well, we won't give you your own IP, but it basically will be your own IP, like a brand new IP, because this is like it's in the God of War universe, but it's in a completely different like realm. And it's gonna play completely different, and it's gonna have nods to the other games, but it might as well be a new IP. And I think that's what they pretty much, you know how when they say a good negotiation is when everybody goes home unhappy, and I think that's one thing that Cory Barlog was probably not happy all the way with this deal, like fully happy. He probably likes the fact that he's able to be creative director, have a maybe less stressful job. I think, well, like he probably gets a little bit more sleep, gets to spend a little bit more time with his family. But at the same time, he gets to like if he wants to in the future, he can definitely dig into that new intellectual property that he wants, a brand new game that has nothing to do with God of War. But for now, he gets to have all these people that he's known that's worked on all these different games for like 20 years get their shot while he overlooks them. And yeah, like I kind of like that idea of that. I like the idea of that. And maybe one day we'll get that space game from Cory Barlog, but I don't think we're gonna get that anytime soon.
I just would have loved to see something.
Oh shit, I thought my Be Right Back screen was on still. I was about to cry. 'Cause that was a really good
Else, like something.
I love new IP.
And I
said
said
before, Sony was always known when to move on. They've done a good job with that.
And
you have to you have to have an acute awareness of that more than ever. With how long and how expensive games are. You know, how long they take to make, how expensive they are to make. On the other hand, you invest all this time and money in the IP in order to leverage it later. And so I understand that. That said, I think maybe a B+ for me for the show, because I do try to, not objectively, but for me personally, I look at this list of games and I'm like, there's actually a lot of games on this list. You can't really argue with it. I think what it misses, this is what Chris was saying, was the panache, the surprise, like the real. A lot of it was like, oh, we've seen this game released, we've seen this game trailer. We've seen this game gameplay.
It's a lot of stuff that we've seen before. Like Halo to me, like I've been excited for Halo for a long time, so seeing it again is like, well, what the fuck? And you don't have a date yet. It's like 2027 again. Like that game's been, I think 2020 or something. The last time we saw that game, or like not the last time, but like that's how long ago we've seen it. And it's not like announced or anything. Like seeing it. So at this point, it's just like I don't know. I can't get excited. This reminds me of the PS4 generation. Like every E3, it felt like. Sony would be like, we're doing Kingdom Hearts 3, and everybody would leave that TV. And what a great showcase when Kingdom Hearts showed up. They're here every year with it. Is this not irritating? So like, I don't know. I don't want to be too negative. I feel like generally, like everybody's too like weird on the internet with that stuff. But like, I kind of feel like, I don't know. Control, I'm already sold on this. I've seen enough of this. I was like looking up during it. I just wasn't even really watching. I was like, I'm good. Yeah, that's why I took the headphones off and just didn't. Because I'm sold on Control. But when I look at it, it's like I'm gonna play Wolverine, Rayman, Tomb Raider. I mean, there's others in here that I'll definitely play. No rest for the wicked.
I mean, you're sold, but I don't think the majority of the public is sold on Control, the new Control game. Because the first Control didn't do as good as they wanted it to do. So they're gonna market the hell out of this game because a lot of the reviewers who played the game liked the first Control, but it didn't sell as much as they really wanted. Like I said, again, like they wanted it to. Like they're hoping that the spin-off and eventually a sequel will make it something that will sell 10 million copies at the very least. And I think the last Control sold like 5 million copies.
I think I'll play.
It was a great game.
Silent Hill. I'll play that game. Control, Until Dawn 2, and I'll obviously play God of War. And again, I do think there's going to be a similar delusion about this God of War game that there is about Integral Act. Like this game's going to bomb. So I'm like, yeah, okay. I think what matters is for podcasts like ours is how much will it resonate. Like Spider-Man 2 is a great example. Spider-Man 2 is a huge game. It's
one of Sony's best-selling games.
And
but everyone seems to have a criticism.
So
there's gonna I think there's just gonna be two different lanes that are gonna develop it.
No doubt.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we get
through the super chats?
Yes.
Yes.
Do it.
So we'll be hopping back
to the beginning.
Can I
leave this Discord?
You can.
You can.
Okay.
I'm gonna close the window.
Yeah.
Close it.
Okay, starting off from Lee Bowl. PSA, DualSense is better than most people think. Testing beat version 1 DualSense lasts 4 hours after the battery low warning. Ignore the message. I don't think I have such a fastidious charger of the controller. Like if I get up to make a sandwich or something, I'll just like plug it in. That I never really used that way.
I
just alternate.
Yeah,
that's easy.
I have
one always plugged in, and then
Yeah, me too.
when it dies, I just swap them.
Keeps things
easy.
By the
way,
I got
text
messages from the Snark Tank
guys
about
the God of War. They're both way big. Derek was a big God of War fan.
I was like,
you see it? He's like, I did. I was into it until Jack Wade showed up at the fucking queue.
Fair enough.
It looks like a joke play style.
leave Jack Quaid alone.
I hate that it's Karen though.
No
Karen.
No Karen.
Okay.
Roku Terra? A state of play and state stream on my birthday gives me great joy. Surely a new Ape Escape will get announced today, right? Your birthday is ruined.
Ruined.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday. That's what's interesting about these, by the way. Also, Dustin is we were talking about how the last state of play was so good, and they branded it as a state of play instead of like what they usually do, which is some sort of press conference or showcase. That like now our expectations will run this gamut, like you don't really know what to expect.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. You almost have to know how to read into it.
Like we
read into the theater thing. It's like, well, was it really the last one better?
That would
have been a better show.
Well, Sony they own Alamo, right?
Yeah,
they do. That's
probably something that they're like, yeah, well, we can do this.
Oh, I forgot about that. That's a good point. Yeah, so that was yeah, let's do it.
Let's do that.
Good. You're
so smart.
Oh, thank you. The
next one
is from Cappy 999 Super Chat. Thank you. Hey guys,
not a thought-provoking question whatsoever, but what is your favorite flavor of Pringles?
Mine's barbecue.
Oh, I gotta make this deck faster. This is so fucking slow.
Classic, dude. I just love the classic.
I like
the
classic, but
red can.
I do like. Do they still have the pizza Pringles?
Oh, pizza, dude. I remember. Yeah.
I used
to like those when I was kid. I had them
many years.
Smoky barbecue, though. That one was good.
I had a over the
okay.
Ben bought like a big variety bag and it had this next
super chat
is a question
we've already addressed. We can go over it quick.
Colin, you can take it.
Jason.
But unlike a lot of the IP they're bringing back, like Jet Set Radio, and things like that, the thing about all this is that it fucking sucks. So that's they're gonna have a hard time doing it with it worthwhile. But like they might as well keep it.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Distance yourself from it.
Brox 38 says, here are my 5 hero credits, a superior currency to USD. Sorry. My question, what do you think the percent of games shown today are going to be exclusives?
Too late.
You'd figure it out now. There were some.
Yeah, let's all right. Exclusives. Wolverine. I mean, we're talking about if the like true PlayStation 5 exclusives or because Tokon would be on PC.
Yeah.
Phantom Blade Zero's on PC.
Until Dawn.
Yeah,
so until Dawn or so 3. If you're truly just on games, I'll play 3.
Yeah.
Can is up next. Have you seen Joey Diaz play GTA 5? Thanks and have a great show.
No.
Thank you for your super chat. Logan Sunday. Ready for a SOCON revival in the depths of my engine? One can dream.
Yeah, you can continue to dream.
Keep dreaming.
I think SOCON could be a relevant thing. I said that before. SOCON and Killzone. Over and over. Those could be very relevant. They wanted to do something, but SOCON, especially in this era of games as a service, that's what's so funny about them trying to get new IP going in games as a service, which is cool. And they should do that. But like,
okay.
One of those.
The blue candle. This is the first time I've seen this card. Blue candle. Unplayable curses cards can now be played whenever you play a curse card, lose 1 HP, and exhausted. Unplayable cards cannot be played from your hand. Curse cards or negative cards. Exhaust. Okay.
Consider, I don't know, if you put 2 and 2 together. I mean, there's a couple of them. Maybe you might want to go back to like the original PlayStation 2 multiplayer game that anyone cared about. I don't know. Just an idea.
Bills
must be high. Fucking voted, by the way. I hate it. Anyway, go for it. Bills must be high. Maddie allows 2 quid.
Who super chatted?
Yeah, it's a shame that SOCOM and Killzone don't have a popular multiplayer, like especially live service type game at the very least, because those games are like, they were iconic online games and offline games back in the day when back in my day when the internet was barely a thing. They did really well, and it's crazy that they can't reproduce that, because now they like close the studio that does that because they tried to make them make a move game with it.
It's about to click it. You ruined all my suspense, my whole thing. Maddie allows 2 quid super chats on his stream. But all this being said, it still doesn't change the fact that Tommy was the sniper from Daddy T.
Fucking nailed me again. He nailed me. We should start keeping track of just that money and see how we can get to like 1,000.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Traylon Woods again. Marathon also has the unfortunate issue of launching the new season the same week that COD Season 4 launches and new Fortnite season.
Bro.
I didn't even know that. Different audiences do it.
Yeah,
different.
For all three of those, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. COD maybe has more overlap, maybe, but like I don't think that's really a problem.
The bigger problem is the servers. That's the bigger problem.
Certainly.
You're skipping one. We have a 499 already.
Well, yeah. Okay.
Good.
Right?
Because it feels unfair.
Well, I was just gonna go back. I have to search for
manually.
But if
you want to just interject them, I just can't put them on screen.
Yeah, I'll interject.
Okay.
Drew
Money Beats
wrote in
499 super chats. Watch you bozos react while driving home from work. Jesus, take the wheel. I wanted to read that one because I thought that was very funny. Hopefully, we'll pray for you. Hopefully he took the wheel.
Yeah,
we'll pray for you.
All right.
LE
Looking
forward to watching
this with you guys. Thanks for the awesome content over the years.
I hope you enjoyed the show with us.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Glad to have you here. Hope you're well.
Okay. The Lord's Jeeps. Great name. Yes. GTA 6's SM will let players create in-game content that will earn real-life money. The in-game social network will compete with YouTube, X, podcasts, etc. SM? What the fuck is that? Single player? I thought it was single player mode. SPM?
SM?
Oh,
What the fuck are you saying, dude?
Come on.
So just support mod support, I guess.
It's that social media that people are saying. Social. Okay, come on. I'm looking at what else you could have abbreviated. So social media. So you would require like 8 or 9 more characters. So let's see what you could have got rid of. GTA 6 is social media. We'll let players create content.
I did that in the wrong order.
That earns real money. No, actually, wait. GTA 6 will let players create in-game content that earns real money. The social network will compete with YouTube, X, podcasts, etc. There you go. I don't want to be too hard on it. It's reverse. Crazy reversal content. I guess it could be possible, but where is? I guess is it being funded through shark card purchases, like the recurring revenue? But like why? Why would Rockstar?
Yeah,
doesn't like
Elder
Elder
Scrolls
Scrolls have that kind of shit for their mods, where you can pay for mods.
And like
Roblox maybe does something like that.
Oh yeah, Roblox. That's their whole thing.
I guess
it's not very
surprising to me that it has that.
Thank you,
Lord Chips.
Please keep that shit away from Grand Theft Auto. Please.
What is this next name here? Internal? Buzzing
to be here with the boys.
I don't even have an opinion on like them believing that that GTA is gonna. Oh yeah, we're gonna pay you for making content. Like, please, God, no, please.
Tuning in from Belfast, Northern Ireland. Belfast.
Belfast. Love it.
Dude,
Dude,
Belfast, he's the next copywriter.
That's like
something the Southern man would say belt.
Belfast.
Belfast, like Northern Ireland. Sipping on an old fashioned.
Is it Bullet or Bullet?
Bullet.
It's bullet.
It's bullet. I've heard people say both. It's not Bullet. If anyone just say that, it's dead ass wrong. There was a guy that said Bullet, and we always thought it was funny. No. I'd say. I know that for sure. Because my friend Eric knows all these people, and I went to Kentucky. We went to Bullet, and we met people there. They were definitely local. What do you know? Is that a good bourbon base? Bullet's a perfect bourbon base for old fashioned because it's like a higher end commercial beer. You know, it's like it used to be like $25 a bottle. I don't know what it costs now, but so it's not like Johnny Drum or something. But it's not like any. I've always said anything mid tier or higher. Like we'd never want a cocktail. Just drink it.
I'm a Wild Turkey 101.
Yeah, that's perfect. Wild Turkey 101, Bullet. You don't want to get like any like if you're going like in like the evil rare territory and stuff like that. That's when you cut it off. Too smoky. Eagle rare,
in my opinion.
Also just too nice. It's also not aged 10 years like it used to be anymore. It bothers me a little bit. Anyway, now it's getting back to me. Bourbon drinking power. We can't do it. I can't go back to it. Go back.
D.
Kratzberg.
Brad
didn't care the most.
Excuse me.
The most about Brad.
Sorry, I couldn't pay in hyperinflated old shekels. But thanks for your doing. Who cares the most about Brad? Brad's mom. Yeah.
But of Last Stand, who cares the most about Brad?
Yeah. Who does care the most about Brad in your life? You say it would be your mom, right?
Yeah, my parents. Yeah. Both equally.
It's always an interesting question.
Yeah.
As far as the company is concerned,
we'll call it base shekels, so that is very nice, actually.
Yeah.
Sam's is like, I have the Sam's card on my phone, and it's like every so often, like a product will drop like 50 cents or like 25 cents. Or like, we have a new sale on coffee that dropped 25 cents. I'm like, thanks.
On
But
PayPal,
Justin did get me this job, also.
He did. On PayPal, I send it to PayPal and I send it in shekels.
Exactly. Yeah.
The conversion fee is worth it.
Michael loves
Brad.
She
would definitely be interested.
Would
she die for Brad?
I don't know.
No.
Where's she at?
I know she's
typing.
Yeah, she's somewhere.
I don't know.
Somewhere doing something.
Blaine
Harms somewhere annoyed me. Blaine Harms just put an emoji. Controller emoji bounce.
Okay. Gamer time.
Thank you
for that.
By the
way, we have another skipped one.
Okay,
good. The Group 14 wrote in 499. So if each of you could bring back one closed studio from the dead, which one do you choose?
From PlayStation?
I guess
it is. That's fine.
Oh. Ooh, dude.
Pandemic. Yeah.
Tango or Flagship.
Well,
Tango's bad. Tango's kind of bad.
I like the Tango.
The original Tango, like
when they had the Evil Within, yes.
Yeah.
That Dream's dead for 3. Flagship, Colin. I'd take that.
Flagship. That's a good. That's Zelda.
Yep.
You're just
playing those games.
My choice is Bungie.
Oh, yeah, not yet. Sorry, you gotta have it preempted in the chamber. Preempted.
Yeah,
that's a tough question. I mean, there's a lot of good. There's a lot of good answers.
Sad, but he's not wrong. That Bungie might be the next one that gets closed down. I doubt that it will. I think they'll survive enough to release a game to sell money, like to make money, but I think they're like we're on thin ice.
You know what? The Tales of Studio, I think, would be one of them. We were just lamenting on a recent Sacred Symbols episode how they're just taking forever with these Tales games. It's like so unnecessary.
Well, I mean, they did shit a lot of them out pretty quickly.
Well, they
did
did
for the whole.
Well, yeah,
it's been.
I know it's been a while. They did that DLC that came out way later for Arise, whatever it's called.
What
they need is Hideo Bob. Like he was a fucking machine. They need him as producer back.
He was
He was one of those guys. Like I talked about how like you meet these Japanese people. You know this, Brad.
Mhm.
And they don't speak English, or they understand English, but they don't want to speak it. They can kind of understand what you're saying. And so you never really feel it. I never felt when I would interview some of these guys like you really had a connection because like you're speaking with someone. But there were always two people that recognized me and knew that I was like, I can't believe this person knows me.
Yeah.
And one of them was Inafune, who I'd always see, and he would give me a handshake and sometimes hug me or whatever when he would see me. I'd be like, this is incredible. And the other was Hideo Baba, who was the producer of Tales Forever.
Deo Baba.
And he knew me. Like he was like, Colin, when he would see me like E3 or something like that, but we like couldn't really speak.
Yeah.
And
I was like,
Hideo Baba. Hideo Baba. That's a good name to say after that one. What a good guy.
Hideo Baba.
So I'd
say Tales of Studio. We miss what they used to be called. Do you know what they used to be called?
No.
Wolf Team.
Wolf Team?
Wolf Team? What is that? That was like the branding of Tales of Fantasia, Tales of Destiny, and I think Tales of Eternity.
I didn't even know about Tales really at all till Symphonia.
We
Yeah,
I missed all those, dude. Symphonia is the fifth Tales game, I think, so it's pretty early.
Yeah. I didn't even know they existed really.
Okay,
Dax
is
up
next.
He says,
I will transform into Jennifer Coolidge if Intergalactic is shown.
Well,
Jennifer Coolidge.
Isn't
Isn't
she?
she?
Is that
Is that the Chucky chick?
Like
I don't
think
maybe. No.
Jennifer
Jennifer
Tilly.
Tilly, yeah.
Jennifer
Coolidge
Coolidge.
is,
She's oh my god, what is she in? She has that
really recognizable voice.
I can't
Remember
remember
where
where
she's
she's
from,
though.
though. I just know her as her.
Oh,
The chick in the Christopher Guest group. The blonde lady. She's the MILF.
Right.
Like the original MILF. Stifler's mom. Yeah, Stifler's mom. Yeah.
oh,
no,
dog.
Carlos
just
just says,
thank you
thank you for your donation.
Thank you for your
Thank you for your
donation.
donation.
Thank you, Carlos.
So I think
it was
it's
actually typed out.
Thank you for your donation.
Oh good.
Oh, good.
Not positive.
We
have another 499 one.
Yep.
Nick
Domi wrote in. See, I said it.
That
We don't feel like we're being tricked by this one anymore. Colin, phenomenal T-shirt. Thank you. Justin Bailey is a name. By the way, how good are the Carson and Dangerfield clips? I feel honored to be part of this battle. Thank you. Carson Dangerfield, I love those clips as well. Johnny Carson. Dangerfield clips when you come on the show. Definitely check those out. Those are awesome. Justin Bailey is a name. That's a Metroid reference. Right?
Yeah, that's enough of that. See if anybody else.
It's Nintendo, man.
They're just trying to like make celebrations. Like I feel like they would have celebrated Zelda technically earlier, but like that just didn't work out with their plan. It does work out now. I do imagine this is best case scenario. I'm not expecting, but we get like those little Zelda things, and then it's like, and also we want to announce that we are working the follow-up to the Kingdom. We'll have more to talk about that at some point. But today,
Am I dead?
But
like, how do you phrase it? Because when you say the follow-up,
like
we don't think it's going to be in that same world. I don't.
And so
if it's a
new
reincarnation of Zelda, but we're working on the next new mainline Zelda. I guess maybe you phrase it that way. Maybe you know what I mean. I don't think that they like the word.
I know.
Yeah, that's tough for that franchises, but I that would be, I think, the most far out there game in the beginning. Yeah. I almost would think you. When they, I guess, yeah, they didn't announce the title of Tears of the Kingdom until later. So that's not because I was gonna say maybe just announce the title, but I don't think they would do that if it's super far out. Yeah. If it's the Untitled Zelda project, we would know what that. Sure. Yeah. See what you mean? Like, yeah. Hey, we're working on the next big Untitled Zelda project. But for now,
Ocarina of Time remake, and then everyone fucking.
Do you have anything else, Zelda, or do you want to move on?
That's all I got.
No, I wanted to bring up. We've gotten a lot of Switch one.
Okay. All my politics in here. We ain't watching politics. Gotta find something. Can't watch myself. Okay, I love this guy. This is what I strive my channel. This is what I strive my channel to be. Is this guy's channel? Like if I had a model of a channel that I want to be like, it would be this guy. Um
All right, the PlayStation State of Play, June 2nd, 2026. Should be some
he doesn't do okay, he hasn't done a video yet. Damn. Okay, I'm gonna watch nerdy stuff.
A lot of it was the normal NVIDIA stuff. I'm like, oh, we're great. You know, this thing's going to be the best. Claims and statements, whatever. But then it started to turn into just like pure bubble talk.
Ah. Yes.
And then gives us all Monday they're drop the early version for the patrons, make sure all the I's are dotted before posting to YouTube and you know a million other websites on Tuesday. It occurred to me though, like a week ago, I don't remember what it was. Like, oh, context coming. This might be weird. Maybe we should wait till Monday.
We'll do one more run.
Intel conference. And then I worked for like 30 minutes Saturday checking something.
I wanted to go live for a little longer, but I didn't sleep last night and my back hurts. Like so I'm probably gonna be doing the same thing offline, but at the same time I need time to be able to stretch my back, use the restroom, all that stuff. Because my back is like killing me right now.
Before going to dinner. And it became clear the 9070 GRE was going to launch Monday. The 7700 X3D was going to launch with its price. There would probably be other announcements. When I was definitely about to launch. And I'm like, there's already we already did a whole episode with Computex. So I think if we wait for like if Intel reveals Nova Lake on Tuesday when this video comes out, oh well, I'll just make another video. Like there's no point in us waiting any longer. But I am glad that we waited until Monday because there was a ton of stuff to discuss. It really has filled out this episode. I think a lot of people were worried this Computex would be boring. It's very boring. It's not the worst. It's not like we've seen in some recent where it's AI. There's nothing of substance really good.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of announcements. Part of it, I think, is just people are always expected to be a little disappointed. I mean, I guess I will say from what from this Computex, I feel like there's a lot there. I don't know how much I like all of it. That doesn't mean it looks impossible to come.
Well, and that's the funny thing is that the PS3. All right. Well, let's just get right into it here. Let me get into the this time. The first one comes surprisingly from Carbon Crime. Who writes in and says,
9 a.m. and then you have an 11:30.
Some BS about. Sony having to get NVIDIA GPUs because the cell was not good enough. Cell was actually more than good. Back then, GPUs had vertex shaders for doing geometry, and pixel type shaders for applying textures and actually coloring the pixels. The idea of the PS3 was that the cell CPU would be the vertex pipes, and Sony was developing their in-house chip for pixel pipes. So the cell did its part, but Sony couldn't complete the other half of it and had to scramble to get NVIDIA. And when they did that with a full GPU, that's something that would bypass the SPUs. They lost their main target workload and were the money for the console.
Hmm.
That's a good clarification, I suppose. Because a lot of times people describe it like, oh, they were just going to use the cell and nothing else. It sounds like no, Sony was like trying to make their own GPU and gave up.
Yeah, and I don't think we've ever implied that the cell was.
I need to figure out how to use this card.
Very
misfit with the rest of the console landscape, and even the PS3 at the time. I guess because their development goals failed. And it was impossible to code.
Well, and that's the funny thing is that the PS3 ended up as this expensive console that everyone saw as like, well, they spent too much money on this. But they wanted their own in-house GPU or like to do it without having to use NVIDIA. The console was supposed to really come out a year sooner with not needing an NVIDIA GPU. It might have originally been planned to be a $400 box.
I'll take that curse.
Or less, It is just funny to think that. Because I think people look at the PS3 and they're like, oh, look at Sony's hubris. And it's like, no, look at Sony's F up. I mean, like they didn't try to make something with all these issues. They just kind of failed.
Yeah,
just fell into
you can
Yeah, I mean, I guess the hubris thing comes in with it as another like kind of statement piece from like a design perspective, but like
or like the E3, right? A 2005 or 2006 E3. Like the console itself wasn't because of hubris, but they sure seemed cocky at the E3, and that's probably where all that's from.
Yeah. But I don't know. I guess
Microsoft took them down to size a little bit, and that's how we got the PS4.
LSM Judoka. It says, hey, Tom, a few times you mentioned that the PS5 Pro is 300 tops without warrants. The 9070 XT is like 1500. These actually are not apples to apples. No. The 9070 XT is advertised 1557 tops measured on int core calculation with sparsity, whereas the PS5 Pro's 300 tops is int without sparsity. Same metric as PS5 Pro, the 9070 XT has 380. Yeah, but I don't believe. Like, let me search that. Int for right. Does PS5 Pro have int for with sparsity?
Why don't I have any block in here?
No, it does not. So I'm not really wrong. This is kind of like the thing where we go back.
I have to take hits.
Like FP8 and all the FP16, all these ways of doing things, and a lot of times people are like, well, apples to apples, it would really.
What's up, Vicky?
Well, yeah, but like for example, the PS4 Pro had FP16 and the Xbox One X didn't, and that did give it a 15% boost above what the teraflops would suggest. Still weaker than the Xbox One X, but it isn't as much weaker as you would think. And so, I know.
How was the birthday? It was really good. Hey, I had a really good birthday. I had fun. It was chaotic. I'm not gonna lie. It was very chaotic, but I had a really good birthday. Had a good time. I had fun in the new apartment, and it was really nice. It was a really nice experience to be able to like have that. Who are these women? They're fucking nerds talking about technology, and I'm over here just watching it because it's like I watch this on my own time, and I might as well watch this while playing, while commentating, and while talking to you guys, because it's like I want to watch it, and if I want to watch it, you're gonna have to watch. I'm gonna make more free time for myself so that way I can watch it and you guys can watch it with me. So you're watching it with me.
Does that mean it's literally like 5 times faster, 6 times faster? I'm not an expert, but I'm sorry. Like, to me, that tells me were you to optimize well to that architecture, it's going to run circles around the PS5 Pro still, probably.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a factor that like it can do calculations that the PS5 can't do, basically. Although it is a little funny always seeing those graphs of especially NVIDIA with their like improvement in compute, and every year it's just really more comes down to them showing off lower precision calculations.
And so again, like in the case of video, there are times for that different CS, but more and more you do hear people say, sure, every app is actually going to use this new thing, right? So, was I wrong to say that? I don't know. I mean, I think the truth is really that it is actually a lot better than some things, but no, not every operation will it be 100% or so, yeah, in next gen.
Yeah.
Again, it'll depend on the game and if they truly program the next generation. Jensen Wang said, I migrated my dad to a new laptop the other weekend, and OneDrive made it super easy. Those are fighting.
I didn't realize we had not Intel, a Microsoft bot here in your Discord, Tom, but there's a few of I trust Jensen. I don't know if I trust Jensen. Well, actually, I also don't know how many Jensen
we
Wangs
have
we
in
have.
the Discord at this point. I don't know.
I think it's one or two.
Okay.
So this Jensen Wang, you're also a Microsoft bot.
The reason why I'm going for the lizard first is that little bastard regenerates, and if I don't kill him, he's gonna regenerate every time he hurts me.
I'm sorry. And I'm starting to think this guy is actually Jensen.
I do that.
Yeah, I know. Well, we'll have to see. I mean, we have a lot of Jensens.
He's gonna watch. He's gonna regenerate. He's gonna hit me. He's gonna regenerate.
Let us get into the stories. We have more than usual today, and the first one involves NVIDIA, like I was just saying. Story number one. NVIDIA stops reporting gaming GPU revenue, quoting from Tech Power Up. NVIDIA reported its Q1 2026 earnings with revenue reaching $81.6 billion, setting a new record. Amid these record results, the company announced a change in how it reports revenue from its GeForce RTX gaming GPUs. According to NVIDIA CFO Colette Kress, the standalone GeForce RTX GPU gaming revenue is no longer separately listed and now integrated under the segment. This segment highlights devices for agentic and physical AI, including PCs, game consoles, workstations, AI, RAM, base stations, robotics, that's an important one, and automotive. NVIDIA's latest reporting changed some now. NVIDIA's up making a distinction between gaming GPUs and chips for cars or even robots, practical terms. That makes it much harder to track how gaming itself is performing quarter to quarter. Let's be real, gaming is no longer the story Wall Street cares about, if it ever was. NVIDIA has little incentive to spotlight it. The company is not abandoning GeForce, but is absolutely time to invest. AI data centers are the main event now. Gaming itself is laundered into just another niche.
It's a little sad that the people who made the first graphics processing unit are now the same people who are making graphics processing units still. Just not for gamers anymore. They're making them for servers. So much so that they cover them up in their sales report because it made them like $1 billion. It's not that much. Like they're getting like 10 times that or 20 times that with their data centers. So it's like it makes sense why they're doing it, but it's sad that it's happening at all.
Edge AI. I have to say, someone's a fan of Moore's Law is dead if they're saying they're laundering things into different parts of their revenue. That is a term I've used a lot with that. All right. Here's the rest of the write-up, though. Now let's flip the script a bit. GeForce is a healthy, growing business. Robotics, though, is not. We have theorized robotics is the next bubble that NVIDIA will seek to latch onto in the future. Moore's Law is dead. So it would make sense to boost the robotics results with gaming. That can A, accelerate the next bubble, how much money is making with robotics in that robotics segment, and B, hide any slowness in the growth of robotics. They need to. So it's not just that NVIDIA doesn't care about games, which is the main takeaway everyone had from the story. We here want to have it's also that what little use they have for gamers now they want to leverage to boost their next bubble. This was largely a catch by I have to agree with. Putting robotics in there before they put robotics, I 100% agree with the way to kind of make it. Grouping gaming with all this other stuff means they can make anything look good if they need to, or at least a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's like a counter. I guess I'm not really making a strong case here. Just more.
Thank God I don't stream tomorrow.
That I think it's dubious. Like I'm not sure why robotics and
Ethereal
gaming are a natural fit. Maybe there's some connection there that I just don't see. But yeah, it lumping them in together, I don't know, seems weird. I mean, we saw like that also happen with you know, well, not this exact.
I really need a fireplace, but maybe this question mark has.
When it was floundering, so you know, a lot of the time it seems like to hide or boost the relative performance of some metric, they just lump them.
Okay, these guys are getting a little too nerdy for me. Boring. Wait, was that on?
Weird. I mean, we kind of we saw like that also happen with.
Let's be honest with ourselves here. Everyone hates their smart TV OS. They're filled with ads, their designs are confusing, and they just get slower as time goes on. Now, this alone made me always look for alternatives. But recently,
Yeah, I legit use a Fire Stick because the OS on my TV is complete ass. Like, I hate admitting it. My girlfriend was telling me that Roku TVs are like kind of like really good in terms of OS and like compatibility with your phone, with your like those TVs are so customizable that you can literally tell the remote to shut off the picture, so that way you can listen to stuff in the background like without the picture on. And so if it's not that, like you're kind of like missing out in terms of OS. So I just use a Fire Stick, like, because as much as I like Roku TVs, like they're not like the best quality, like in terms of like bang for your buck. But like I would rather have like an LG, TCL, a Pioneer. If I really have to, I said TCL, right? And what's another one? Like a really inexpensive LG. I think I already mentioned that one. There's another company out there that makes really good TVs, but like in TV OSs, but really good TVs, but they don't really make good OS like smart TVs. Their picture's nice, but their smart TVs just complete garbage.
stumbled into some less common knowledge that has shifted that priority from maybe someday to
Oh no!
TV is literally
I'm gonna
incapable
die.
of playing my content at its full quality. Why? Well, the short answer is file format, but the long answer, we'll get to that. The moral of the story is even if you're a media tryhard like me and you're
Of course, as soon as I get on, everyone needs me, IRL. Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, beautiful. The fact that you even tried to be here, I love you so much for that.
hosting huge Blu-ray rips on a Plex server, your smart TV is still reducing the quality of that video in various situations, and there's nothing you can do about it. That is nothing but buy a dedicated streaming box and ditch that smart OS altogether. Now, these bad boys don't just improve your TV experience in general, but they're supposedly capable of fixing the quality problem too. A TV
Uh-oh.
never steered me wrong
Uh-oh,
before, but
I'm dead.
also not one to take anyone for their word. So I'm gonna test this for myself. Will they actually work, or will this all just be a waste of time and money? But the first question is, which one? There's so many out there. It's hard to even start. Every time I've ever looked at this sort of thing, I've always heard two very loud answers for the best streaming box: the Apple TV 4K and the Nvidia Shield. Now the only problem is the Apple TV costs $130 and the Shield a whopping $200. I could buy a second budget TV for that for cash. The thing is, though, there's no way you have to get a $200 box to get most or all the benefits.
Yeah, not gonna lie, I really wanted the Nvidia Shield, because it has like a, because it has really good upscaling abilities. Like it has their DLSS built into essentially a streaming device, to where if you're watching a 1080p, if you're streaming at 1080p or 720p, it'll upscale it to like 1080p, and like, and so I'm like, oh man, I want that so bad, because sometimes when you're streaming stuff online, if you get what I mean, it'll be really bad quality, but the Nvidia's upscaling would help it with that. Like, and it's like, oh, it's so tempting, but I never got it because it's $200.
benefits. I just want to know how cheap you can go before this starts losing its benefits and you're right back to square one with slow performance and worse video quality. So my team and I did a whole bunch of digging and ended up picking out 3 streaming devices to try. A budget 4K streaming box from ON, a super budget streaming stick from Roku, and then a surprise third option, a used first-gen Apple TV 4K we scooped up from eBay. Now I'm really hoping the Roku stick performs well, because little
Yeah.
easier if I could just recommend this to all my friends and be done
Hey, thank you for the Sunday spellcaster. I appreciate you.
In any case, rather than go one by one talking about each of the devices, I think it'd be wiser to go category by category here. The way I see it, there's a sort of hierarchy of needs these streaming boxes can address. Some things are non-negotiable, super ultra important, and some are still important but maybe aren't complete deal breakers. We'll go from the bottom of the pyramid to the top. Rank the devices on each, and at the end, we'll surely have
Thank you for the 300 diamonds. I appreciate it.
there's nothing more important.
So I don't really know what this is, but I'm gonna send gifts because YouTube gave me diamonds, I guess. Yeah, everybody right now was given diamonds, and I think they give you like 300 diamonds to be able to give to your favorite, to celebrate, like and to like be able to like give to your favorite streamer. Yeah, so thank you. I think that's like in rubies, that's like $3. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's basically a Prime membership. So thank you.
Kind of defeats the whole purpose. It should come as no surprise that the Apple TV passes this one with flying colors. Even this older Gen 1 version is still packing 3 gigabytes of RAM and solid processing power. This alone is what gives these dedicated boxes an edge over your smart TV. The tiny computer that runs your smart TV is super underpowered. It's barely strong enough to get by. In my TV's case, not even that. But with all this extra power,
Yeah, my TV's OS sucks. They don't even have Crunchyroll on it. Like, that's how shitty it is.
the Apple TV is able to breeze through menus, load apps super fast, and it just feels seamless to use. It also has full support for CEC, which means instead of using their super touch
I
remote,
appreciate it. Thank you, man.
my regular remote. Literally just switch my input on the TV to this, and the device powers on and is ready to go. But what about the on? It's half the price. Well, it's definitely less powerful.
I forgot they have one. I was overthinking it.
But compared to what we were working with before, it's lightning fast. Honestly, this snappiness makes it a difference in more places than just moving around menus. The load times of videos and the apps are so fast now. No more waiting 15 seconds for an episode to load. Once again, you got full CEC support from the on. Hooray! I can't tell too much of a difference from these two, to be honest. And then that leaves the Roku. Does its tiny cost really make things worse? Well, let me put it like this. You got the on only having 2 gigabytes of RAM might be a problem. Try 250 megabytes on the Roku. Yeah, as you guessed, I wouldn't exactly call the responsiveness good. It's still better than my old TV, but not by much. Also, no matter what I did, I couldn't get the CEC to work. That means if I wanted to use it at home, I'd have to turn on the TV, switch to the Roku input, then swap remotes to do everything else. I don't know about you, but that alone is almost a deal breaker. In all fairness, this is a pretty bottom of the line Roku stick. They make more expensive versions with more processing power and more features. But either way, it's already a bit nice for now, but maybe they can make up for it later. For this category, the Apple TV gets a flawless 5 stars. The on near perfect 4.5, and the Roku a miserable 2. And one
Thank you, Spellcaster. I appreciate it. Today is more of a chill, like, reaction type stream because my back is like killing me. And yeah.
They'll thank me for it. You know what actually makes
Trying something new.
old? No, it's not the mileage or
But
the
I
random
appreciate it.
dents and scratches you accumulate. It's this. This right here is 5 months of dirt, coffee, mud, crumbs, mystery stains, all living in our videographer's Subaru Crosstrek. And today, we're fixing that. These are custom fit floor mats from our sponsor, LastFit. And we're giving this Crosstrek a small upgrade that makes a surprisingly big difference. LastFit mats are made from a thick TPE material, so they hold their shape and come with deep grooves that are deep enough to actually trap water, mud, sand, melted ice cream, or whatever spills happen in your car. The edges are raised too, so spills don't sneak underneath and ruin the carpet. But what really makes them different is the tight fit. They're twice.
So close.
Laser measured for the Crosstrek, so they snap right into place and cover everything.
I did.
Once the is in, the whole interior just felt cleaner and newer. So nice. It's one of those upgrades you notice every single day when you get into your car and drive to work. So if your mats are looking like this, it might be time for an upgrade. Check out LastFit in the link below. Find your exact vehicle model and use code SC20 to get
I was gonna skip it, but I don't want to be rude. I skipped their ad.
we can move farther up the magic pyramid of needs. Now, if there's anything almost as important as responsiveness, it's how annoying the interface is. Starting with the Roku this time, I wanted to see if it could make up for its shortcomings in the last category. Thankfully, I'm glad to say the UI itself is pretty straightforward. It's easy to use.
The Roku has one of the most straightforward, like easiest interfaces and probably smoothest if you have enough RAM in it. Interfaces. That's why I like my TCL TV so much. Is because the Roku interface was just really, really good. It's sad that they don't. I really haven't seen a TCL. I think TCL still has Roku interfaces, but it's only available at Walmart now because it's basically a Walmart brand now,
Didn't have to think
which is insane.
at all to work out where the apps were, how to download stuff, and where to change the settings. Unfortunately, the ad situation is dire. Now, you can remove some of them in the options, but not all of them. Once again, the Roku proves on par with the smart TV. And this time, there's no coping that a more expensive model would fare better. Next is the On, and this one's an interesting one because it sports the Android TV OS, which means out of the box, I don't think the results are too great. It has just as many ads as the Roku, but with an even worse, more confusing UI. It's all very smart TV, and that's for a reason. Look, the TV we're testing on uses Android TV, but not all its hope is lost, because you know one of the benefits of an Android TV as an OS is that it has a robust app store, and one of those amazing apps is a third-party launcher called Project Ivy. It's free to use. All it takes is a couple minutes to set up, and then Project Ivy is your new OS in a way. This gives you way more control of your device. You can make the ads disappear. You can change the UI layout to a better, more stunning.
Okay, I really like that. Which one is this?
In fact, there's one choice it gives you that absolutely blows my mind. I somehow haven't found anyone talking about this, but the On boxes have a permanent, always on, can't be turned off AI upscaling feature. We did extensive testing and found out that not only are they upscaling all your standard definition content, it gives it a natural, overly sharp look to it, but it's also on for HD, even 4K content. The effect is more subtle for higher resolution content, but it's there. And by default, you just have to deal with it. But Project Ivy solves this. It gives you a toggle. Can you imagine that? It even lets you compare them side by side on the fly. In short, by default, the On would receive less than a failing score here, but thanks to the open app store, you can simply swap in a launcher, and it's good as new. Lastly, we got Apple TV. If you know Apple, you know they care a lot about clean UIs and a solid user experience. And as such, the UI is clean, it is attractive, and you can disable all tracking and reporting, and even the ads aren't bad. You sort of get these recommended ads when you hover over certain apps, but guess what? They only show up when they're in the home row and they're hovered over. If you don't like them, just move them off the home row. Done. That's pretty much all I can ask for here. No further comment. Well done. Now lastly, we get to the final category, and the one that really
Okay, well,
in the first place, video quality. So what did
I need to go back.
I can ask for here? No further comment.
The On Google TV. I need to get this one. I need to find it for my TV. Because I have the Fire Stick right now, and it's
Now lastly, we get
subpar.
to the final category, and the one that really got me curious in the first place, video quality. So what did I mean when I said your smart TV literally can't display the same level of quality as these guys? Well, there's some real obvious examples like HDR. Some TV apps you use may not support things like HDR10 or Dolby Vision. That means that nice TV you paid lots of money for because it has amazing colors and brightness, you just don't get to use any of it in those cases. That isn't good, but it goes even farther than that in a way not many people know about. Apparently, not all videos made the same. You've got different videos, rips, streams, whatever you're watching. Those can have different file types and codecs. Now, I don't want to get too into the weeds because codecs can be a whole video in its own right, but all you need to know is that there's a lot of video, audio, and subtitle codecs out there. Each one of them is sort of like a new language your device needs to understand to read and display properly. Now, smart TVs are fluent in the most common, simple ones, so the video files comes in, and the TV reads it and says, oh yeah, I
Yes.
saw that before, and it shows it for you. But because the computer's
Josh, I need your backrooms review, raw view, like yesterday. Raw view. Okay. Go watch it.
And instead of showing everything as intended,
You convinced me.
Hey, can you translate all this for me? And that's known as transcoding. And transcoding reduces video quality, in some cases by a lot. If you look at this HD perfectly crisp anime footage, that's how it actually looks. But after transcoding, because the TV doesn't know how to read one of its codecs, YouTube level video compression instead of crispy footage. Hopefully that makes the problem perfectly clear. Your smart TV literally can't play this file at the original quality. It doesn't know how. But these streaming boxes, they do. The question is, though, just how many extra codecs do they understand? First, the Roku. How do you think it fared? Take a guess. Now, if you guessed basically the same as a smart TV, then you've been paying attention. Uncompressed audio codecs, image-based subtitles, and even some regular video file types are all unsupported. A lot of the models don't even support modern HDR versions. Like I said, it is pretty much the same as your smart TV. So what about the on? It's twice the price, 8 times the memory. It's a lot bigger brain space. Well, after lots of testing, we found it supports way more codecs, obviously. Your boy is fluent in more than a couple languages. I know that. Well, I didn't go through the trouble of having these nice quality videos streamed without compression from my Plex, just to have my TV fumble quality at the last minute. It supports basically every HDR format too, including the newest ones like HDR10+. It's definitely a step up from the TV and the Roku experience. But lastly, we have our golden child, the Apple TV. Since we went use a first-generation model, that means this thing is a little older. Does that mean it's going to be missing a lot of codecs? After a lot of testing, trying just about every TV show, movie format, and file type that we could throw at it, and for pretty much everything we tried, even on this older model, it handled them all like a charm. No transcoding, no compression, just maximum video quality. Maybe
And that's why you should buy things that are used more often, because a lot of electronics, a lot of the times buying something new just to play like electronics and stuff like that, it's not really necessary if you're on a budget. Like, you just buy something that's used.
Apple really is the GOAT. Unfortunately, though, because nothing is perfect, and I can never ever be completely happy, there are a few exceptions. One
Uh-oh.
of which is
About to put my foot in my mouth.
surprisingly big. The biggest problem is that this Gen 1 doesn't support something called AV1, aka the thing that a lot of streaming apps use to give you HDR. That means apps like YouTube, Netflix, and more don't have full HDR support. And on this model, that just means you have no HDR on YouTube at all. I will say this mainly matters for people streaming. If you're trying to watch full quality uncompressed video from your server, that's not really a problem. But I mean, I paid money for HDR on my TV, and if YouTube has HDR, I'd like to see it that way. So some points off for sure. Still though, if you're less of a streaming TV person and you're just talking raw, how many codecs does this thing support? The Apple TV wins the day. Okay, so we've gone through all the categories that matter, and I feel like I have a solid grasp on the offering.
I'm gonna get that on Google TV.
Be honest with ourselves here. It was awful. Given the whole swapping remote situation, I'd argue it's maybe even worse than the smart TV experience. But one day, I'll try out their most modern, high quality, most expensive streaming sticks and see if that makes a difference. The On, I actually do think had a strong showing overall, especially for the price. For the cost of fast food for two, my TV feels upgraded. It's more responsive, ad-free, and literally gives me higher quality video and audio. Sure, there's still a few weird codecs and formats it doesn't support, but it does 95% of the things better than your TV.
Did you just say it does 95% of what it's supposed to do, but it's cheap? That's like my type of technology right there. I always tell people, I'm like, I always look for something that's going to do 90% of what the product above it, that's like $1,000 of what it can do, but for me to get it at a fraction of a price. Like, if I can do that, that's a good bargain, and I'll buy it.
Besides, the real downside with the On is the built-in AI upscaling, and so if you do own one of these and you don't
Somebody said the last time that they feel judged by Pikachu.
now. Then finally, the Apple TV really does feel like the most premium, ad-free, and versatile device on this list. It's also the most expensive, but I'd argue that $70 isn't that bad in 2026. What is that? One video game? If you're spending close to or sometimes more than 4 figures on a TV, surely an extra $70 to make sure everything looks as good as possible is worth it. Well, everything but HDR on YouTube. If If you want your car to feel newer without buying a new car, start with the floor. Last Fit makes custom fit mats for tons of models, and you can get 20% off with code SE20. The link is in the description. So, which one do I think you should get? Here's my take. If you're a casual media person, you watch all your content on streaming apps like Netflix, the On is going to give you everything you want
Yeah, I want that on now.
and save you $40
Get it.
over the Apple TV. If you're on the other side of the spectrum, and like me, you keep high quality media on something like Plex or Emby or Jellyfin, then the Apple TV 4K is absolutely worth the extra money. It's responsive, you don't have unremovable apps or app.
No, I never recognized. The government never recognized that divorce. I don't know what you're talking about.
Of situations, your movie is going to play exactly how it's supposed to look. Now, this does make me want to try out the new Apple TV versions. I heard they even have support for more and even more snappier, and also do FaceTime or something. I gotta look into that more. Oh yeah, do you like the new living room set, by the way? There's a members only video of how this came to be. If you're curious, I think it looks way nicer than what we had before. Okay, bye.
All right, we're gonna watch that GPU video, and it's gonna be boring. I'm just letting you know right now.
An actual new graphics card to review is quite the novelty at this point. But
Josh divorced me was non-consensual. Stop! No, it's not true. These are rumors. This is hearsay.
not quite brand new. The GRE has been available for some time in China with some limited visibility elsewhere in the world. But I went into this one with some degree of optimism. You see, the gap in AMD's RDNA 4 lineup between 9060 XT and 9070 always seemed kind of big, and this fits in quite nicely. Secondly, in a world where the AI memory crisis has really hit hard, the idea of a 12GB card from AMD makes sense. With the 9060 XT 16GB at $440.
Not gonna lie, I would. Am I sick in the head for low key? Like, would be okay with some of the stuff that she did in the movie? You know what I mean? Like, some of it was fine. I get it. Everybody's like, he was a bad guy. I'm like, yeah, we understand. This movie is about the bad guy being punished. But I don't know. I can fix it.
Now, and the 5060 Ti from Nvidia around 570. A keenly priced 9070 GRE makes a lot of sense. But here's the thing: while the product makes sense, the recommended asking price does not. AMD is suggesting 550.
I don't know what you're talking about. You have no evidence, no proof.
For just $50 more. That's a relatively small price to pay for 4 extra gigs of memory and significantly more games.
Okay, this is too nerdy for us to watch.
Let's be honest with ourselves here. Everyone hates their.
Can you write that down, Shauna, as something I want to get in the future? Is the ONN Google? Okay, I'm watching this.
Most people don't think about cloud storage until they run out of space.
I'm trying to make a cloud storage in the future. When I'm not forced.
What if you could store, sync, and access your files without depending completely on big tech cloud storage? What if you could start building your own private cloud using Linux and open source tools? That's what we're going to talk about in this video.
I'm gonna let them hit me so that way I can do that miracle.
With Ubuntu Server, Docker Compose, and Nextcloud. And don't worry, we're going to keep this beginner friendly. I'm not going to pretend this is magically easy. Self-hosting comes with responsibility. You have to think about security, backups, updates, storage, and maintenance. But that's also the point. This is one of those projects that teaches you real Linux skills. You learn Docker, you learn networking, you learn storage, you learn backups. You learn how the services we use every day actually work behind the scenes. And that's what this channel is all about. So if this kind of Linux and self-hosting content helps you take control of your tech,
Done? What do you mean?
Subscribe, and drop a comment telling me what cloud service you're trying to replace first. And also go down and hit that hype button if you can. It really helps the video get out into the algorithm. Now, are you trying to move away from Google Drive, OneDrive, iCloud, Dropbox, Or are you trying to learn how to self-host your own stuff? Let's get into it. Now, first off, cloud storage became popular because it solves a real problem. That convenience is powerful, and for a lot of people, that convenience is the reason they stay locked in. But convenience comes with trade-offs. You may not control where your files are stored. You may not control how long they are stored. You may not control how the service changes over time. And you definitely do not control the pricing. One day, a free plan is enough. Then your photos grow, your videos grow, your documents grow, your family starts sharing stories. Then suddenly you're paying monthly just to keep access to files that belong to you. But the question is, do you want every important file in your life tied to someone else's
Thank
server
you.
forever? That's where
You the
self-hosting
best.
public cloud services gives you convenience. Self-hosting gives you control. And the goal is not to tell everybody to cancel every cloud service today. The goal is to understand the trade-off so you can choose intentionally. That's the mindset shift. You don't have to replace everything overnight. You can start taking control one step at a time. So what do I mean when I say private cloud? A private cloud is basically
Okay, this is something I gotta watch later. Because this is gonna be a little boring, but it's something that I need to learn.
So, you finally decided to start your own server.
Okay, no. Is this coming out? Time is it? Okay, soundproofing a room for $100. Count me in.
For a reason, because it actually works.
Oh man, you don't even want to see how massive my watch later playlist is. I need to see that. I need a screenshot of how many videos you have in there. Oh.
Since I made it, a lot has changed. Some things people recommend still don't work. Some cheap fixes works better than ever, and there's still a ton of confusion between soundproofing and sound treatment. So in this updated version, I'm keeping the same $100 goal and the same realistic expectations, but everything is tighter, clear, and based on what actually works in 2026. And I'll also add a few sound tests so you can actually
He's the
try it
best.
yourself if it works for you. Now let's begin with the biggest return on investment by far: sealing the air gaps in the room. If you only do one thing from this entire video, do this step. Most rooms leak sound like crazy, even newer ones, and it usually happens in places people completely ignore. Around doors, around windows, along baseboards, along trims, around outlets and switches. None of this looks dramatic on camera, but this is where the biggest gains happens for the least money. Here's the simplest way to think about it. If you can feel air, you're losing.
Jesus.
If you can see light, you're
That's some ADHD shit right there.
you're not soundproofing the
description below of everything
Yeah.
about in this video because it might have changed from a couple of years ago. And then run sealant along that, along baseboards where they meet the wall, the window trim, the door trim, any visible cracks or seams, then seal over it. And why this works so well is most sound coming in or out of a room isn't blasting straight through a wall. It's leaking around it. And the best part, this step improves every other step we're about to do. Step 2, the weakest link in the room. Most
The door.
doors are hollow core, which means they're basically two thin skins with air inside. Sound goes right through them. But the biggest problem usually isn't the door itself, it's the gaps around it. So the first thing you need to do is weather strip the door and add a door sweep. This is the cheapest and highest impact door upgrade. Add weather strip around the frame, install a U-shape or adhesive door sweep. This seals the largest moving air gap in the entire room. What I like about the U-shaped door sweep is that it is temporary. You can slide it in, slide it out when you don't need it, because sometimes the air circulation inside the room, the reason why there's a big gap underneath the door is not only to let sound in, but also to let air in and out of the room. Now you're blocking that. If you don't have proper air return into your room, that could...
I do actually end up watching the videos and clearing it out only to continue the cycle of hurting videos again. Hey! Zero judgment here, I'm just saying. I can't judge. I haven't even started my watch later.
If you want to leave it there, what I also like is a industrial door sweep where it's metal, you screw it into the bottom of the...
Looking for something to watch while I... Okay, now I can't find anything to watch.
Do you regularly shoot videos with your iPhone? Well, if you're not using the Blackmagic camera app, I'm telling you, you're probably doing it wrong. And the reason I say that is because the Blackmagic camera app adds so much incredible functionality and value to your iPhone's camera, it's almost absurd. And when combined with this little guy right here, this is Blackmagic's Pro Dock. It turns the iPhone camera into an amazing professional camera reel.
Where's the Sony for the iPhone?
Be a pro to benefit from it. In fact, some people may be intimidated by something like this. They think, "Oh, I don't need time code. I don't need gen lock."
That's a trick question for me because I have wound care, so I have patches on it. So I never really do. If I didn't have patches, I would probably cover the toilet. But what I usually do, I usually go with a bag everywhere, and I get judged for it because they see the blue hair and they think I'm stealing. But I usually take like a disinfectant with me, like a disinfectant wifey or something. Yeah, I'm one of those people, and cleans the toilet because I ain't no way in hell am I gonna sit there with fucking paper like on my cheeks. I need if I'm going to the restroom, I don't have time to do that. You know what I mean? So I take disinfectants. I squat but don't sit. That's interesting. But I haven't used a public toilet in forever. I don't touch enough grass for that.
I don't even know what those are, but that doesn't matter because there are many other reasons why you would want to use this, even if you're not a so-called professional, right? I'm going to walk through 12 different reasons why I love this combination with the iPhone, the Pro Dock, and the Blackmagic camera app because it's absolutely amazing. And I actually built out this rig right here. And I know it looks crazy. I know this looks nuts. But believe me, the amount of value that you get from this, and it's all built around the Blackmagic Pro Dock, as you can see right here. The amount of value you get from this thing is absolutely incredible. I'm going to show you.
That's why I tell people you don't need $1,000 camera to start YouTube. And you don't even need this. You can just have your phone. This is just if you get a little bit of money and you want to upgrade a little bit. This would be the thing to do. Like, you know what I mean?
All the things this thing can do because I guarantee your mind's going to be blown when I show you everything that this thing can do. So this video was of course shot with my iPhone 16 Pro Max camera rig, which of course is driven by the Blackmagic camera
I might get one of those just for my hand.
Pro Dock.
Some Shauna, except I'm a recent because wasn't able to squat until 3 years ago, and that's all I do now. Not gonna lie, Vic. Purely for you, I think I might switch to if iPhone impresses me within the next like 3 years, I might go back to iPhone. Purely just for you, like no joke. I'm barely gonna live. Dude, this is like a scrappy ass fight. Damn.
And of course, I'm using the Blackmagic camera app as well. I'm shooting this in high quality.
My legs aren't strong enough. I thought you had like legs of steel.
Look pretty good. What do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comment section. So I'm also going to show you how to build this exact rig out. And of course, you don't have to copy it verbatim, but if you want to use this as inspiration to build out your own iPhone camera rig, then feel free to do so. But I'm going to show you the step-by-step.
Oh, my legs weren't strong. Okay, I see. I heard that wrong.
Let me just share with you a dozen advantages that I found that comes from using the Blackmagic Camera Pro Dock, the Blackmagic camera app, and my iPhone 16 Pro Max. So reason number one, a single V-mount battery like this powers the entire rig. That includes my iPhone, that includes my monitor, that includes the Pro Dock itself, that includes every other accessory like the SSD, the Ethernet adapter. All that powered by a single battery, and this V-mount battery itself includes additional I/O, including a USB-C port that can both be used to charge this battery and thus keep the entire rig powered indefinitely, and it can be used to charge other devices. So if I want to charge another
You're gonna
phone
die.
or my iPad,
This is literally what's gonna happen to me right now.
it's pretty cool. So with a couple of batteries or a power source, you basically have all-day shooting capability. Another thing I really love about this setup is that everything is connected to my iPhone via a single USB-C cable coming from the Pro Dock. So it literally is just one single cable connection to my iPhone, and I'm ready to go, ready to shoot, and have full connectivity to all the I/O on the rig. Now, because this thing has an Arcus mount on the bottom, I can easily mount this to a stabilizer like a tripod for those extra steady shots. Have you ever thought you were recording, but you actually weren't? Well, that's where
You know, there's some people who squat on the toilet, like with their feet standing on the toilet like a fucking bird. I'm like, I think that's technically the correct way to poop, but I'm like, I'll be damned.
It's basically this little lamp on the front, this little LED indicator, and it'll turn red whenever the Blackmagic camera app is actually recording. So it works hand in hand with that app, and you can have a physical indication on this rig that tells you whether or not recording is active or not. That's super handy when you're doing selfies or for your talent to know when they're on the air. Now,
And I'm dead.
nice things about having a rig like this is having access
Oh no,
to
never mind.
an HDMI monitor.
My math is horrible.
Monitor yourself. If you're in front of the camera and you're shooting with a high quality camera on the rear of your iPhone, you're going to still be able to monitor what's going on. You're going to see that you're in frame. And even if you're not in front of the camera, say you're just shooting, you can use this monitor and you can like rotate it. You can have all sorts of angles. So if you're shooting like overhead like this, you can still be able to view what you're shooting. It's just so much more convenient to have this monitor so you can frame your shot accurately. Now, another reason I really love the whole Blackmagic camera app setup is that you can actually use another iPad.
I technically do that. I'll tell you how on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z.
I'm shooting with my iPhone. I can use my iPad, connect remotely, and then I can not only monitor what's going on wirelessly, but also control. So I can actually start or stop recording. I can change the
Oh, I got lucky.
I'm using. I can change the ISO. I can do anything basically that I could do from the camera itself, right there remotely from my iPad. So here I am monitoring my camera via my iPad using another instance of the Blackmagic camera app. I just simply connect wirelessly. I can not only monitor, but I can also control this thing. So I can say, hey, I want to switch from the 48mm camera to the 24mm camera, just like that on the fly. And I can make other adjustments to white balance, to my shutter.
I'm dead.
Within the camera app directly from the iPad wirelessly.
I was gonna, if I was gonna hurt myself, it was gonna be by my own hands.
That a rig like this is so handy is because, as you can see right here, I have this SSD.
All right, guys, I gave you a good 3 hours today. I'm sorry that I haven't gone longer. I want to start going longer. I didn't sleep today, so I want to get off, and stretch my back a little bit, and then I have some errands to run, and yeah. So I hope you guys have a great day. I don't think we're gonna be able to do them after all because I haven't charged my chair. I hope you guys have a great day. Let me see. They also know you're supposed to give birth. Women only started lying on their backs because some dumbass king wanted a better view to watch his kids being born. I saw stars. What, really? That's, my mind is blown. I didn't know that. Message me, big Victorian. All right, I'm gonna get off. I love you guys. Remember, you're pretty good.